What I'm trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. We realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles. Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Masi Warrior Clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomenon with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Masi Warrior Clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.
was like, I don't debate y'all. Y'all too disrespectful. Aboriginal Power won't even debate Sean because he too disrespectful.
He is though. No, he really is though. I can't really like you, bro. You cool. Not a coincidence. I actually chop it up, but niggas that come off too heated and disrespectful, like I said, I'll debate you, bro. But we gotta get in the ring first. If you want to be disrespectful like that, at least disrespect me in the ring, bro. Let's start now, bro. Can you disrespect me in a cage, bro? Like, I'd rather just do that. Then we go straight from the cage. I mean, put your ice on the way to the motherfucking computer, and we'll debate directly after that, nigga. Shit.
That's why I don't need these. Fucking with the nigga and shit. You feel me? Like, it's like, wait, bro, talk like that. We gotta get face to face with you to talk to you like that, my nigga.
Yeah, Peanut. You feel me? Go ahead, I got my brother already. Peanut, what's the word, brother?
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, but Lucky, let me say this, man. First of all, I'm an older brother. I'm young in spirit because I stay in shape. But I'm older. I deserve respect. Don't lie on me. You're not going to get nowhere lying because that's what's going to make you fall face first. Second of all, I'm well known in the Pan-African community. I'm not nobody new. You're younger than me. You don't know this. I didn't put in work and expose Rob Bourne, Sutek, any of them people over there. They know it deep down inside. And I'm gonna be long-winded. I'm a Moorish American. I already had back and forth with them dude. They erased videos. I'm not running from anybody. Don't ever say that stupid shit again. Third, and last but not least, I'm not losing no debate to no Pan-African. So don't ever say that shit again, famo. And that's it. Appreciate y'all, man.
So you heard that? If Sean P want to debate, tell him to debate the champ over here, right?
Sutek wanted so this like it's a pecking order. It's a pecking. So Sean want you and Sutek want him. You say PMF ain't no.
It's no problem. It's no problem, man. Let's set up a Sutek debate, man. I don't like him anyway.
Okay, so I love that son, brother. I love that warrior mentality.
That's how it's going. I love to tell Sutek, tell me. There ain't nothing. My champ always in the chat. Have him pop in. We'll set a topic. We'll set a date. We'll make it pay-per-view. We'll chop it up behind the scenes. I get their contact. We make it work. So, right here. He ain't ducking no phase, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. He do this over here on y'all channel, but then when we get in other
hey, alright, I will block your ass, nigga, because I'm well known for disrupting them chats over there, nigga. Stop fucking lying, nigga. You a goofy, nigga. I would never let a lame ass nigga lie on me in my face, clown.
You gonna block me and I don't be
It ain't no time I ain't ever been on the Pan-African channel and made my impact. Stop lying. I'm a real man, bro. Stop lying, fam. Don't do PNF like that.
PNF, he trying to trigger you, brother. And
word the fuck up.
So listen, he did that to me, talking about, oh, word on the street, I'm ducking from John P. I've never even had but one conversation with this little disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, he a little hot. He like that.
So he like...
How the fuck y'all find an African in my fucking family, but y'all ain't find y'all own genealogy? Shut the fuck up. That don't make sense, for one. Listen, y'all don't know what y'all did.
I don't feel like you standing on business.
Y'all lied on me, because y'all don't even know if that's me. And if y'all can trace that shit back to it's me, it's only 2 people in YouTube that got my information.
Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of meat. Half of this track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us honestly. You ain't a Cherokee, nope. You ain't a Chickasaw, nope. You ain't a Blackfoot, nope. Nigga, get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Call that ABO slipping with his genealogy. Now he's a con and I ain't talking about a singer. I'm coming for the top ABO leader. He ain't a teacher, he's a preacher. He can't keep up, so we leave him. Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of meat. Half of the track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us possibly. You ain't a Cherokee, no. You ain't a Chickasaw, no. You ain't a Blackfoot. Nigga, get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Call the ABO slipping off his genealogy. Now he's a con. OTK. TKO. Now he's a con. OTK. You died. TKO. Genealogy.
From Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, brother. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you where about from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whip that. I caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO. Caught another ABO. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO. Caught another. Let's go. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO slipping. Caught another ABO. Caught another ABO. Caught another ABO slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karemio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Call the ABO slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing's staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no friend.
All right, peace to everybody in the chat. Sean P in the place to be, man. Make sure you like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we live. I don't know why the book was in the way, but Stream, y'all got some new update that you got to figure out. And they got these orientations and stuff in studio. And even though it's, it's still there, but I've been waiting to do this. I've been waiting to do this show today. I kind of been pissed off all day. I was listening to Lucky this morning because, Lucky come on 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning in the Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern. And Lucky show, his audience is growing a little bit. And it's the morning show right now. He ranges it out in topics. He deals with a little pseudoisms. He deals with with the ABOs, politics and things of that nature. Lucky's very versed in many things. He's not a one-trick pony. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize or understand about a lot of us in the community. We really, even though we might argue with ABOs, I know many of you have found me personally to be like multifaceted. And I believe it was because someone said that you don't need to know everything, but you need to know a little bit about a lot. And so as it pertains to my journey and learning and understanding with like-minded individuals, their journey is the same. So that's why we have research teams. We have groups that collectively do research on said subjects and subject matters so that we could actually get to the root of the problem and deal with a lot of the bull junk. Yeah.
Let's go. On your ass, fuck, nigga. I ain't finna wait no time. Let go. Hey. I can't keep listening to dude. I heard you shadow ban my nigga cause you out this bitch faking views. You broke as fuck in this bitch, probably dropped out of school. Now you on this bitch tryna go viral off faking news. He do this shit for clout, that's why he got to reading this shit in his videos. These niggas ain't even big enough, that's why I drop subliminals. These niggas ain't even big enough, that's why I draw subliminals. You just a pseudo coon. Hey, most of these niggas broken and illiterate, they can't even read the room. He say the Vikings black, my niggas sound like a damn fool. Everything you got came from a white man, that's BYU. You just a Jehovah Witness and Mormonite. He think that he a Jacobite, but this nigga think he a Lamanite. Your skin black, nigga, they think you living with the curse. You always lying, you ain't monetized, nigga, you ain't got no purpose. I'm laughing out loud, nigga, you like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. They got a mask on. You quote niggas in your source like that's a big foundation. It's pseudo watch your mouth, nigga, and it's full of self-hatred. Again, you 12 hours straight, no citation. I ain't arguing with this nigga ain't got no translation. He saying copper color, but he penny picture broke. All your sources that you quote is straight Reddit posts. You panel hopping all night, I ain't arguing with no joke. Flat earth logic, these niggas ain't even Bill Nye pseudo. Say you sorry, nigga, but you ain't, nigga, fuck that. Nigga citing Jake, nigga, hey, he citing Frank Joseph, nigga, like that's the history. Talking about Egypt was in America, nigga, that ain't no mystery. Bitch, you sound dumb as fuck. What you talking about, Memphis?
Well, you know that ain't a lot of cities out there.
What you talking about, Cairo, Illinois?
I'm just saying, we got a lot of cities out here that's named after that stuff, bro.
Dummy. Nigga be all this dumbass shit ain't even been across the country. Nigga, I don't give a fuck about shit when you ain't getting no money. Nigga lucky the beat cut off. I'd have kept fucking going on his ass, nigga, all off the top. Hey, listen, bro. Put your best in the motherfucking booth. Okay, I'm recording.
Come on, man. They doing too much capping out there, man. Sir cap a lot. They say they ain't got no slave ships, right? What are slave ships? The voyage of slave ship Hare, a journey into captivity from Sierra Leone to who? South Carolina. They say this shit is fake. They say it's fake. So what we doing here? They just be running their mouth, this fake, that fake. They ain't got no sources. They ain't got nothing to bag them up. They do all this woofing online every day. They talk about read this, read that. They full of fake literature. They full of a whole bunch of banter. They can't provide you no context to nothing. You can't read nothing about what they believe. Nothing. They can't send you no source in history, no source in history that agrees with the position that they take. Not a single source. So that's why I'm live right now. And this is what we about to get into. We about to deal with this. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, please. And thank you. Share the show. We finna get started. Share the show. Hit that like button and share the show. Even if you don't agree with me, by the end of this bill, you're going to have to change your position with the way that you do things scholastically. I promise. By the end of this bill, you're going to have to do something different. Because what y'all doing right now, can't keep happening. What y'all doing right now can't keep happening. Oh, these things don't exist, right? These books intimidate people with low attention span. That's why they only got 140 characters and 90 seconds worth of comprehension. Anything over 90 seconds, they can't comprehend. But these things don't exist, right? These don't exist, right? Lucky told y'all what y'all are. Quote pseudo-white dudes, Mormonites. He called y'all Mormonites. That's exactly what y'all are. Hit that like button. I don't like the way this look at all. I don't even know why it's coming up like that, to be real. Uh-oh. What's going on? How you doing? So listen, man, before we get started, man, I want to say peace to the chat, everybody in the chat. If you're on your cell phone, it's looking like this. I don't know why. StreamYard required me to select the option. And this was the option if you're on your cell phone. If you're on your laptop, it look regular. If you're on an iPad, it might look regular. But I want to say peace to Real, Public Enemy, Thurman, Old Dog, Not a Coincidence. We got Kayla in the building. We got Pure Black is in the building. Who else is in here? I can't really see. I can't see who else in the building. Those of you who ain't even commented or said a word, peace to everybody in the chat. Hold on, they holding messages for review. Don't be hiding none. Sure. Okay. They ain't gonna come over here. Show that comment. You see what she said? They need to bring their ass over here. Now they running. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, man. Peace to everybody in here, man. We got Melanated. We got fat-headed ass Mika. We got Keisha. We got No Pseudo in the building. A lot of these comments are up earlier, so I can't really see them. But let's just get the cooking. Hold up. Peace to everybody who might be saying something right now, man. I can't really see everything in the chat. You always laughing at your fat-headed ass. Let me share my screen. So I want to lay a foundation down first before I even get into the mess. Let me change the way I look on the screen though. I do not want to be all over the screen. There we go. I ain't sharing nothing right now, but I just want to make myself a little bit smaller because I don't like the way I'm looking on y'all on the cell phone. I ain't trying to be on the phone. True Bilgum, you're a pseudo as pseudo gets. I ain't even got to start the show. Prove it. Prove it. Come prove it. There go the link right there in the chat, bro. Should be a link in the chat. Prove it. If I'm whatever you just said, True Pilgrim, hit the link and come prove it. Before I start the show. Come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to keep it real with y'all, okay? This is the truth. So what I'm about to say should not come at any. You said you've proven it already? Prove it. The link is in the chat. Hit the link and prove it. Because I don't know what you're talking about. Hit the link, prove it. Make sure you're on a laptop. Something that you can share your screen and prove to us what you just said in the chat. Straight up. Hit the link and prove it. Ladies and gentlemen, this entire conversation is about one thing. One, we're arguing with a group of people, no matter what the conversation is, about settled science and history. Settled science and history. What information do they have at their discretion that presents an argument that counters settled history and science? They don't have any data, no methodology, no evidence ever presented that can counter the settled history and science. I repeat, you cannot prove it. The link is in the chat. Prove it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Hit the link. It's in the chat, bro. Prove it. If you think that Mike did anything, come prove it. It's just that simple. Don't tell me what you think he could have did or what you might think you saw. No, you didn't. You saw somebody trying to control his narrative, protect his $600 per customer that he get, or them $50 per customer that he get, and hustle y'all out y'all money. You ain't seen him do nothing. He provided no evidence. Zero. He only talked about some stuff, and then he gets galloped around that because when I hit him with whatever I needed to hit him with, he couldn't even bring it. So anyway, this conversation with anybody is about settled science, settled history. So at some point, they have to present data that has been cross-referenced, verified, and accepted to either refute, debunk, or rewrite history that is known to man. It's not about white people. It's not about white people no more. Because if these Negroes that are on all these social media platforms had the genetic evidence, the archaeological records, the paleontological records, the anthropological records, the linguistic evidence, and presented it it would be reviewed, and you would have scientists in each field of history and science presenting this information or scrutinizing this information, trying to falsify this information. And if they can't falsify it, then they will accept it as such, and it would overturn human history as we know it since the inception, and rewrite American history as we know it to be based on the coming of the European to the Americas. So there's settled science and settled history regarding the conversation. Outside of the settled information we have, they ain't got nothing. No lab coats, no archaeological digs, no bodies, no genetics, nothing. So what are we really dealing with? And I'm going to show you what we're really dealing with today. I see we got Lucky in the building. What's up, Lucky? Let's deal with this. Somebody said history is never settled. It's always being updated. No. The history is settled. Who inhabited the Americas first is settled. That's settled. There was people here before other people arrived here, and we know where the people that was already here came from. That's settled. There was no one here before the people coming through the Kelp Highway or the Beringer and Beringia, neither one of those routes. There was nobody here living an uninhabited ice cap that was a mile long that stretched from the western point of Alaska to the furthest most eastern point past Chicago, Illinois. There is no information that anyone has ever presented in the history of any argument that says that something has been overturned. The shit's settled. Archaeologists, paleontologists, and geneticists have all worked, and linguistics and every other field of science have all cohesively worked together to piece together the point of human history in the Americas, according to the data that has been presented. Even when history and science uncovers new information, it is added to the information that they already knew, solidifying what has been argued. I'm going to give you an example. 10 years ago, not 10 years ago, in 2017, it's almost 10 years. In 2017, the Kelp Highway was first presented to people regarding an alternate route that for people that took people to populate the Americas, right? That was there. And what they found was these little rafts. But what they also found was geological evidence to support the low tide, the high tide, and all of that. So they knew when the last glacial maximum, when the last ice age was in full effect over here, they knew that the sea levels were low. The sea levels were 400 feet lower than they are today, before that ice cap melted. The reason that they know that, because off the coast of California, they've been looking at the rocks, the sediments, the going down in that water, and knowing that there were levels to it. They found evidence that it was lower. They're dating all of these things. And then they found these evidence of these rafts that could not even survive in the Pacific today. There's no way. You got naval ships that are struggling in these wild terrain. I mean, in these wild waterways in the oceans on either side, the Atlantic and the Pacific. They found the evidence to support. And then they turn right back around, and then and 6 years from their discoveries of the Kelp Highway, right? 6 years later, they found footprints in New Mexico. Footprints of a community of people walking. They found that. That was another piece of evidence that added to other evidence that we had on the Kelp Highway. Geneticists in between that have came through and solidified other genetic evidence that was presented, like the mastodon bones, fire being burned, and bone. I mean, other people were uncovering the fires, but from fires being burned and DNA from toothed mammals and all of that was found up there. They got all of this other stuff that went into the picture. What I'm saying to you is the shit is settled. Any new information is going to solidify the information we already have, to the degree that we don't even care what y'all say. I said hit the link and you just keep talking in the chat. Can you stand on your own? What is a scientific theory, True Pilgrim? Look at his comment. I want to put it on the screen just so people could understand. He said, the Bering Strait theory is a myth. Where's the evidence for that? Where's the evidence that says that the Bering Strait is a myth? You just contradicted yourself because you said the Bering Strait theory. In the field of science, a theory is an explanation of facts. So how could it be a theory if the theory is explaining the facts and then you turn around and said it's a myth? According to whom? According to whom? I mean, you're remedial at this point because all you're doing is you just talking. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are arguing with incompetent people that never graduated high school. Those that did graduate high school have very low IQs and was just probably passed along so a motherfucker can get rid of them, and then they probably ended up in jail and learned some shit because they was in jail and had access to a cell phone and gave them YouTube, and they started listening to some stupid shit thinking that they're going to find themselves and then be this different person when they got out. And then the other ones are just cherry picking, riding a wave of some other motherfuckers that ain't got shit to do with anything in life. At the end of the day, that's what we got going on right now. A lot of uneducated, low comprehension, low IQ grifters who have no particular meaning in life. So, now that I done gave you a little bit of spiel of that and I done wasted about 15 extra minutes more than what I wanted to, I want to go into this first. You should be able to see the full screen. I should not be on your screen at all, to be real. All right. What is the scientific method? See, this is how you know you're prepared to argue with ignorant people. You're already ahead of what they're about to say. Yeah, you low IQ. You can't even read, bro. Do all scientists follow the scientific method exactly? No. Some areas of science can be more easily tested than others. For example, scientists studying how stars change as they age or how dinosaurs digested their food cannot fast forward a star's life by 1,000,000 years or run medical exams on feeding dinosaurs to test their hypothesis. When direct experimentation is not possible, scientists modify the scientific method. But even when modified, the goal in many of the steps remains the same: to discover cause and effect relationships by asking questions, carefully gathering and examining the evidence, and seeing if available, if information can be combined into a logical answer. New information or thinking might also cause a scientist to back up and repeat steps at any point during the process. Understanding the steps of the scientific method will help you focus your scientific question and work through your observation and data to answer the question as well as possible. The interactive diagram below may help you understand the scientific method and how it is applied to an experiment. You can click on any other parts of the diagram to learn more. You can use the top button to return to the diagram for more examples. The first thing anyone should be doing is this: asking questions. The scientific method starts when you ask a question about something that you observed. How, what, when, who, which, why, or where. For science fair projects, some teachers require that the question be something you can measure, preferably with a number. For detailed help with this step, use these resources. These two right here. Do background research. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no one in the FBA, ADOS, or Aboriginal movement that is doing background research. I'm going to give you a clear, concise demonstration of everything that I'm about to say. Rather than starting from scratch and putting together a plan for answering your question, you want to be the savvy scientist using library and internet research to help you find the best way to do things and ensure that you don't repeat mistakes from the past. They said go to a damn library or use internet research to help you. For details, help with the steps, they give you background stuff. Construct a hypothesis. So before we did anything, you begin to observe something or ask questions about the things, do background research, and then you constructed your hypothesis. This is the part of history where many people have a problem with it. And yeah, I'm dealing with science right now, but trust me, I'm coming back and we're going to get into more. A hypothesis is an educated guess, not a stupid guess, not a belief, not something that you just brought out your asshole like the motherfucker in the chat. Pause. It is a educated guess. It ain't a dumb guess. It ain't a lack of comprehension guess. It ain't none of that. It's an educated guess about how things work. It is an attempt to answer your question with an explanation that can be tested. So, if the research question is, were black people in America before the Paleo-Indian? We would need to do background research on the history of the Paleo-Indians and when they migrated into the Americas. From there, we need to go a little bit further and find other information that will go into that question. Like, what genetic evidence do we have? What archaeological evidence do we have? What other field of scientific endeavors do we have that can help us understand so that we can formulate our hypothesis? You can't skip the steps and just come right out and say, I believe we was always here. Because look at these books. They say that they saw black people. They said, man, for 3 years, maybe more, people have argued that Christopher Columbus said he saw black people. And then the people who said that is not what Christopher Columbus said that they painted themselves black, sometimes red. Those people who said no, they was black people begin to be totally confused about everything. So then they begin to look for other things to qualify their belief, cherry picking information. Meanwhile, none of them did background research to help them formulate a hypothesis for black people being in America. They never asked themselves, How did black people get to America? What were the circumstances or the conditions of them arriving in America? When did this happen? Who were these black people? Which routes did they take? Why did they migrate to America? Or where did they enter America at? None of y'all have the how, what, when, who, which, why, or where answers to you being in America before the Spanish arrived. None of them. And we're going to get this, we're going to demonstrate this. So now, to move forward, because I'm going backwards, forwards, you got to construct a hypothesis. This hypothesis is your prediction. Your prediction needs to be viable to be tested. If you don't know what that looks like, they have examples here that will give you a good idea on how to formulate your hypothesis, because it has to be tested. An example of that is black people were in America, and then you say, you give your reasons why you believe that black people were in America before the Paleo Indians. You can't argue with information that has been proven, because if you're trying to do that, you really fuck this whole thing up. Now you stuck at, most of y'all, and really 99.99% of the people who believe that they've been in Americas from the beginning of time are arguing a hypothesis that is not a scientific hypothesis. It is a regular, we on the street, and I say, to not a coincidence that, man, black chicks in the South got thick thighs because they eat a lot of soul food. That's a street hypothesis. That ain't tested. That ain't proven. None of that. Can we formulate it if we rephrase it and test it? Absolutely. But me looking at all the women in the South and saying, man, it's just something about them women in the South. I say it's got to be the soul food. You know, as just a simple street hypothesis. Y'all are arguing against settled science with a belief, with a street hypothesis. The reason why I say that is because when it's time to test your hypothesis, when it's time to test if black people were here in the Americas, and we go look to find the evidence for that, we should be able to locate it in each field of science. It should not be this goddamn difficult to prove if you was here or if your ass wasn't here. So your experiment tests whether your predictions is accurate, and thus your hypothesis is supported or not. It is important for your experiment to be fair and test. You conduct a fair test by making sure that you change only one factor at a time while keeping all the conditions the same. So if your argument is that black people were in the Americas because of the evidence of Lucia and Naya, you then would have to prove that the people that Lucia is related to and the people that Naya is related to are the same, and you're getting these things out and you're able to do that, then you got to have science solidify your argument. You can't use the science that is settled on Lucia and Naya and then try to paint them black like the black people do Jesus. That is not how this shit going. So after you've tested the hypothesis, it is at that point that you can analyze your data and draw your conclusion. If the information that has not, if the information you found solidified your hypothesis, you tested it, you found the supportive evidence, then you present it to us. You cannot argue with me. You cannot argue with not a coincidence. You cannot argue with Lucky. You cannot argue with intelligent people in this chat. If your ass is running around here still stuck in the hypothesis state, and it ain't even a goddamn real hypothesis, it's some shit that you're regurgitating from a motherfucker who ain't even graduated. And that's just facts. So after you've analyzed your data and you drew your conclusion, you present it, you communicate your results with everybody else. And then we're going to go behind you and we're going to try to replicate your test using your methodology and then try to falsify it. If we're unable to falsify it, we must accept it as such and render that shit actual factuals. Here's the evidence. Prove it. So here's what you're going to need in order to fully understand what's going on in this conversation. So clearly, this is an overview of the historical research method. Even though I just showed you the scientific method, the historical research method has a very similar format in how to fucking research. But when you're dealing with history, you need a collection of facts. You need a chronology of the data and other information related to the interests. But historical research is more than compiling a record of the past events. It provides institutions with valuable insights about the past to inform current cultural, political, and social dynamics. Historical research methods primarily involve collecting information from primary and secondary sources. If you bring a book up here talking about Atlanta is Atlas or America is Atlantis, I'm going to cuss you out because you are playing with my intelligence. And it is at that point you know goddamn well you don't have no primary or secondary information about America being Atlantis or Atlanta being Atlantis. Because that is some bullshit that's written in a fictional book by some fucking white dude that just made up some shit because it's Greek mythology and they remixing shit. Don't waste my mother freaking time. Straight like that. Using historical research methods, historians provide institutions with historical insights that can give perspective on the future. Individual interests in adhering to these careers or blah, 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 they end up doing this. So you need to know what a primary source is. A primary source ain't what A1 says when he comes on the show and say, well, we're going to hear it today. I'm actually going to play the shit. Y'all going to hear A1 say some psychobabble bullshit that I just can't get past. I can't let it go. And I want y'all to hear it. There's no sources that substantiate the shit that he's saying. No evidence for the shit that he's saying. But primary sources are first-hand accounts. These accounts are documented to a T. Examples of primary sources are eyewitness accounts, historical events, written testimonies, public records, oral representations, legal documents, artifacts, photographs, art, newspapers, articles, diaries, and letters. I know what you're thinking, but if you show some art, that's a primary source. No. A lot of this shit that y'all show today on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, wherever y'all at with y'all bullshit, a lot of the stuff y'all are showing are recreations of the actual primary source. These little arts that y'all run around here and throw up something that look like it's a bunch of black people, and next thing you know, it's the Chippewa Indians, and they all painted red and black and with white lines in their faces and shit like that. But then y'all gonna say these are black people because they painted themselves. Or you misrepresent the account of Christopher Columbus again, where he says they painted themselves black and sometimes red, and y'all run with it and just say, oh, black people, look. Or you misrepresent Jack D. Forbes because he's arguing about the word being used in a different time frame, and you try to make that shit relevant for today. And you're going to need some secondary sources, which cite the primary sources and give you a good example. There hasn't been anything presented by the Aboriginals or if you claim to be Aboriginal, Indigenous, Native Black, Untanchanon, the first blacks, Black Indians, Black Native Americans, whatever the hell it is that you claim, there has not been any information presented by these people that can overturn the historical record as it sits. Because guess what? They're still using white people and then try to chastise you for using smarter white people. The white people, they believe, wrote all of these fictional books about Atlantis and about a motherfucking Turtle Island and all this other shit that is non-existent mythos psychobabble. I'm going to show you. Now, the value of the historical research providing historical perspective is this. Current global politics has its roots in the past. Historical research offers an essential context of understanding of modern society. It can inform global concepts such as foreign policy development, international relations. The study of historical events can help leaders make informed decisions that impact society, culture, and economy. An example of that is the Industrial Revolution. I'm not going to go too far to that. I'm just trying to make a point here. So what is the historical research or historiography? It attempts to systemically recapture the complex nuances that the people, meaning, events, and even ideas of the past that have influenced and shaped the present. Historical research relies on a wide variety of sources, both primary and secondary, including unpublished material. We just went over this. So the steps in the historical research involves the following. Identify idea, topic, or research question. Conduct a background literature review. Refine the research idea in question. Determine the historical methods will be the method used. Identify and locate primary and secondary data sources. So if you think that black people been in America before the European get here, go locate the primary and secondary data sources for that. And let's go over them. Me and 5 of y'all, and not a coincidence, and Lucky, and whoever else, YK, whoever else want to be a part of it. 5 of y'all, 5 of us, we get the material, we go over your material that you claim you got. That's primary and secondary data sources proving that you've been here before the Europeans. Because guess what happened after that? You have to evaluate the authenticity and the accuracy of the source material. Yodi, if you're out there listening and wondering why I be beating up your bullshit books, because after you evaluate the authenticity and the accuracy of your source material, you realize that you're using bad shit. Then you're going to analyze the date and the development, a narrative expositions of the finding. That's another problem with y'all. We are talking about history and you motherfuckers have no chronology. And you want to use TikTok as a source. No. When you go and you get your primary and what you claim to be primary and secondary sources, guess what we got to do? When you come forth with that information, we have to evaluate your source. So we're going to ask questions about your sources. So from the many volumes of electronic resources that you have access to through the Harvard Library System, blah, 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 we ain't really worried about this as asking a question. But we have to evaluate the sources. Here's why. Because although the most useful sources for a given assignment would depend on the assignment itself, as well as on the kinds of sources generally relied upon in the field of study, there are some universal rules that will help you decide whether to use a source. Once you determine whether a source is worth looking at, you'll still need to figure out what you will do with it in your paper, in this instance, or in your presentation, or in your TikTok, or in your whatever you're doing. Then you need to know how to cite the information and ideas you draw from it and how to avoid plagiarism. Dane Calloway. When you write for an academic audience, you are responsible for making sure that any information you provide and any ideas you cite come from sources that are both reliable and appropriate for your assignment. The most reliable sources are those that have been vetted by scholars in the field, articles published in peer-reviewed journals, and books published by academic publishers. No matter what you're working on, keep in mind that not all sources are appropriate for your project. Just because someone has written something down doesn't mean it is a reliable source. I'm going to run that bar back. Just because someone has written something down does not mean it is a reliable source. So, Yodi, before you decide to rely on a source, you should evaluate the source. V note. Before you decide to rely on a source, you should evaluate the source and decide whether it is appropriate to use in your paper. One more time. A1, AP, Dane Calloway, Karimi Yo, Top Cats. Before you decide to rely on a source, you should evaluate the source. What is the girl name? What's that girl name, man? It'd be Dulcinea. Before you decide to rely on a source, Smoke Signal, Certified Sachi, all you pseudo motherfuckers over there. Just because someone has written something down doesn't mean it is a reliable source. So before you decide to rely on a source, you should evaluate the source and whether it is appropriate to use. Even in your arguments, you're going to bring me a book about masonry, Rosicrucians, and all this religious bullshit that y'all be trying to mix and match into this conversation, and we talking about history. You need to do a better job at evaluating the source. Here's why. You should always determine the qualifications of the author, the purpose of the source, that is, in what context it was created, the scope of the source, what it covers, and in what depth, and where relevant, the currency of the source. I told y'all earlier we're gonna ask questions about your source. So we're gonna ask, what's the author's credentials? What's the purpose of his source? Yo, Yodi, why you bringing me this bullshit? What is the scope of the source? Who published the source and how current? Because Yodi had a problem with this the other day on Lucky's show. He wanted to know how current is the source? Because y'all were using 18th, 19th century phrenology, which has been debunked in the field of science as a pseudoscience, and you were wondering why people had a problem with your source. Because researchers in social sciences and natural sciences place a premium on the most current, up-to-date scholarship in the field. So if we're talking about proving who the first people were to inhabit the Americas, we cannot be using outdated information to argue that. I'm going to say it one more time for all my 18th and 19th century wabbos. You cannot use outdated information to argue for the existence of who a people was when you need the most premium and most current information in the field to answer the research question. This means that a literature review of a particular topic that was published 10 years ago is much less relevant than one that was published the year before. In other fields, currency may be less important. You should always check with your instructor. None of y'all got no instructors, so y'all need to come see me. Ask me, is this motherfucking source current, and reliable for your argument. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you got some cold-blooded shit, I'm going to say, yeah, this is updated, bro. This dealing with this. I'm going to be real. I'm not going to deny it because I don't fuck with your belief system, your mythos. I don't care nothing about that. I care about the credibility of your source that you're presenting to me and how relevant it is for our people in America today. We're going to evaluate the motherfucking journals. Yeah. And guess what? The date on them journals is even more the same way we just talked about questioning the other sources. We need to know if it has been peer reviewed. Who were the peer reviewers? How did they reach their conclusions? What was the methodology? We need to know if this shit's been scrubbed out. Even if you got that shit from a website, which most of this shit is coming from, even pseudo-ass websites. Although you should generally begin your electronic research by using e-resources available through the Harvard Library and other institutions, and at times you'll want to use Google. When you find a source online, you will need to assess whether it is a credible source. You can't go to realhistory.com, my nigga, and go look up goddamn them fake reconstructive paintings and then try to argue for the existence of black people because it's fucking realhistory.com is a fake ass website. Because web sources can be created by anyone and therefore are riskier in terms of their credibility and authority. They should always be evaluated according to the following criteria. Who is the author of the site? How accurate and objective is the site? What is the site's currency and coverage? We back to all of that. You're not finna tell me that Atlanta is Atlantis or what did Calvin Denzel Calvin Roberts say about in Rome, Georgia? He he said Greece. He said Greece was in Georgia. And then none of them wabos check him on that bullshit. Greece in Georgia? Nigga, please. You always want to evaluate online media content. This is the problem with you mofos right here. So look, before you use a social media post, a YouTube or TikTok video, a podcast, or any type of online media content as a source in your paper, or just in general, it's important to make sure you understand who has created that content. You got a motherfucker whose name is Tomahawk, El Bay, Wichita, Washita, Moorish Empire. Create a motherfucking thing about America. That motherfucker credibility already shot. He ain't got no sources. He just remixing some shit, putting it on TikTok, making the shit sound slick. None of them have credibility. Why is you using that? There's no fact checking going on. There are many self-proclaimed experts on social media. That's a fucking fact. And it can be difficult to vet the information they present. While some content creators do rigorous research, like some of us in this chat, many podcasters cite sources, interview experts, and employ fact checkers, for example. Others do not. You ain't never seen a fact checker employed on any of the ABO channels or any of them TikToks they be doing or any of them TikTok lives. Just an example. Unc had an expert on his panel and he interviewed him and they were talking about vaccines, right? This was the other day. A molecular biologist. He's interviewing this kid. Intelligent mofo. That's an expert. That's a great interview because he's interviewing an expert in the field and he's also demonstrating the as much knowledge as he has on the subject matter, and he resourced 2 great books that we both have that's written by experts in the field on virology, understanding viruses and shit. Vincent Racking Yellow and all of that. Y'all heard them. Expensive ass books too. And then people be like, what's wrong with Wiki? I'm not really going to go too far into that, but you got to be very careful with Wiki. And even though Wiki cite sources, you need to go verify the information that you're getting off Wiki and make sure that it's solidified. And then making decisions based on your discipline. We know for a fact that you motherfuckers ain't so disciplined. What up, Khalil? You know it's methodology all day over here, bro. That's how you kill them. That's how you kill them. Hold on, Rod. I had to approve your message, bro. YouTube tripping. But these are some different things right here. So I'm walking y'all right into some shit. So let's just get a general basic understanding of what we're dealing with before I play this video. Alternate history. Keep it basic. Alternate history is a subgenre of speculative fiction. Alternate history is a subgenre of speculative fiction in which one or more historical events have occurred but are resolved differently than in real history. Every time we have a conversation with these people who act like they already been in the Americas, the problem is alternative history. They immediately try to call the Paleo Indians Mongoloids and say that they were never here. They're not the people that was already here. They just came in, hijacked them in the 1800s, and then the white people gave them the power to pencil whip their ass out of history because of Walter Plecker. And then it's immediately when Walter Plecker pencil whips people that wasn't even the goddamn people that claiming to be pencil whipped, then they lost their history, culture, language, land, and I say language, yeah, and everything else that comes tied into the culture in those subculture fields. So a basic understanding is alternative history is a subgenre of speculative fiction. Speculative fiction is an umbrella genre of fiction that encompasses all the subgenres that depart from realism or strictly imitating everyday reality instead of presenting fantastical, supernatural, futuristic, or other highly imaginative realms of being. I want y'all to remember that. I also want you to remember pseudo-history. It is purported history which treats myths, legends, sagas, and similar literature as literal truth. Is neither critical nor skeptical in its reading or ancient historians, taking their claims at face value and ignoring empirical and logical evidence contrary to the claims of the ancients. Pseudo-history is on a mission, not a quest, seeking to support some contemporary political or religious agenda rather than find out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the past. Pseudo-history often denies that there is such a thing as historical truth, clinging to the extreme of skeptical notions that only what is absolutely certain can be called true, and nothing is absolutely certain, so nothing is true. Pseudo-history often maintains that history is nothing but myth-making and that different histories are not to be compared or such traditional academic standards as accuracy, empirical probability, logical consistency, relevancy, completeness, fairness, honesty, etc., but on a moral and political ground. Pseudo-history is a selective in its use of ancient documents, citing favorable those that fit its agenda and ignoring or interpreting away those documents which don't fit. Pseudo-history considers the possibility of something being true as sufficient to believe it is true if it fits with one's agenda. Pseudo-history often maintains that there is a conspiracy to suppress claims because of racism, atheism, or ethnocentrism, or because of an opposition of its political and religious agenda. One more, then we're going to get into it. Pseudo-skepticism. Pseudo-skepticism in the basic form is a philosophical or scientific position that appears to be that of skepticism or scientific skepticism, but in reality, it is a form of dogmatism. And we're going to get into how to spot a fake skeptic in just a minute. I just laid a lot on y'all, so now it's time to get into this bill. I want y'all to hear this shit for yourself. And then I got to go to Lucky Show. So, in order to not get a copyright strike, I got to do something different for this. Lucky played this video earlier. Let me put this up. Let me cover the video up. Hold on. How can I cover this video up? Oh, that said background. Oops. All right, here we go. Okay. I need to cover the video up so we don't get a copyright strike. Because I don't know this dude, and I don't care for this dude at all. Now, everything that I just talked about, I want y'all to listen to this shit.
Also, the other caller before, she was all like, as far as the National Guard and stuff like that, listen. Yeah, we got to be careful.
When you've got a classic ride, you need tools you trust.
Channels
Whether you drive it every day,
monetize the hell out of pseudo.
Be careful and watch out for all that. But as far as all of this stuff with ICE and all that stuff, we not panicking. They've been saying all year long we was gonna get deported, and that ain't happened not one time. So they know they're trying to get us to be on the front lines, and we we out the way.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really?
Go ahead.
First up, we've got
and that's good. So that's what we got to keep doing. Staying out the way and minding our business. All right. Caller from area code 86862. You're on live.
Peace. What's up, Afro Lee? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I just want to add some clarity to a lot of things that's really going on, like as far as us as FBA. Now, I don't identify as an FBA because I'm what you call a true American. I'm an Atanchan. I'm an American Aborigine. My people was Yamasee, right? Aniyawiya, and Creek, okay? And these was Negroes who was already...
This nigga done named 3 different tribes that ain't... Listen to this. Listen to this shit again.
Now, I don't identify as an FBA because I'm what you call a true American. I'm an Atanchan. I'm an American Aborigine. My people was Yamasee, right? Aniyawiya, and Creek, okay? And these was Negroes who was already in America. So like, even with the addressment of what FBA. Now, I done heard you talk about Louisiana, right? But there's other human remains that was found here. You got Naya that was found in the Yucatan. Now, the Yucatan was part of Florida, right? Was part of Florida. When you look at all of...
Real quick, if you're not paying attention to what he said, the first thing that he says is that his people was 3 different groups of people. He said, listen to what he said.
I heard you talk about Louisiana,
we got to be careful and watch out for them. And we stand. We
Now, I don't identify as an FBA because I'm what you call a true American. I'm an Atanchan. I'm an American Aborigine. My people was Yamasee, right? Aniyawiya, and Creek.
This man said that his people were Yamasee, Aniyawiya, and Creek. If you research the three things that he said, you're going to see a total problem with that. How the hell is you Creek, bro? Aniyawiya? Yamasee? Are you fucking serious right now? So he started the conversation out being three different groups. Health and wellness, we know that they wasn't black people. He literally are three different groups of people in one. That's the first claim he made. Here's the next claim.
Okay. And these was Negroes who was already in America.
Then he claimed that the Yamasee, the Creek, and Aniyawiya are all Negroes in America. First, he claimed that he was these three. Then he claimed that these were Negroes and they were already in America. See, when you slow it all the way down, Lucky, not a coincidence, and not just let it rock out, you interject, you can now come away with the claims. There was 2 claims made in 13 seconds. What's going on, Marie? Stop laughing, Robert. Robert Lee Ford. Stop laughing, bro. I know you driving across the Americas right now listening to me, bro. Stop laughing. The man said he 3 different groups of people that ain't nowhere beside each other. Creek, Yamasee, and Aniyawiya. And then he said all 3 of them were Negroes.
So like, even with the addressment of what FBA. Now, I heard you talk about Louisiana, right? But there's other human remains that was found here. You got Naya that was found in the Yucatan.
Okay. So he went from being these 3 different groups of people and them being Negroes. He then moved the goalposts to Naya because he heard the dude talk about Lucia. So now he brings up Naya. And none of them was up on Spirit Cave. And Lucky keep telling me this. And I just listen to Lucky because he listening, he knows. Lucky says they wasn't up on Spirit Cave until I came in on a bill one day and was talking about Spirit Cave. And that amazes me. So we're getting somewhere. But listen to what he says about Naya.
Now, the Yucatan was part of Florida.
Oh, never mind. Before he mentioned Naya, at first he said, I mentioned you talking about Lucia. Then he brought up Naya. Then he just brought up the Yucatan. He said the Yucatan is a part of Florida. The Yucatan is a part of Florida, but you got to hear him out. You got to hear him out.
Right? It was part of Florida. When you look at all of these tribes, all the way from the Micmac, all the way down to the Gullah Coast, which is the Gullah, which is the Timacoans and the Yamasees and the Seminole, all of them are the same tribe. And these are all Negroes who've been in America.
Now, he just said the Seminole Negroes, the Yamasee Negroes, and our we Negroes, everybody along the Yucatan, from the bottom to the top of the Yucatan, which what we know is Florida, and all of that being connected. He's saying all of them people was Negroes. He just classified all these different groups of people that are in these different places as Negroes.
They ain't come here on no slave ship. These people.
You heard him. All of them people he said didn't come on no slave ship.
Who was already here. We was already here. Brother.
You heard him. He clear. We was already here. We was already here. Now, basically what I said earlier about alternative history, what it was. He is talking to this dude on his show about alternate history, which is a subgenre of speculative fiction in which one or more historical events have occurred but are resolved differently than in real history. The resolved differently is him basically saying, no, we were already here. That's his claim. Remember, I told you about methodology. I kept saying methodology. What eyewitness account did he source? None. You heard him bring up Naya, then he got away from Naya. He isn't citing in his sources in his conversation with the guy. He's just running his mouth. But let him continue.
Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And even the word slave come from the word Slav.
How many fucking times are we gonna keep on hearing the word slave comes from the word Slav? How many times we gonna keep hearing that bullshit? They all say the same thing. Yodi does, V-Note does, A1, AP do. They all say that. Slave come from Slav. This is not a, listen to me. We are not having we're not committing etymological fallacies here, ladies and gentlemen. Why the fuck where's the relevance of that bullshit?
You understand what I'm saying? So when you get into even the terminology, see, we just raise our hand because that's what the Europeans taught us that we would say. But the Europeans were slaves.
Oh, there goes another claim. We just raise our hands because that's what the Europeans taught us to do. But see, the Europeans were slaves. Another claim. He's debated this topic with not a coincidence, and we have yet to find one fucking white slave in America that was owned by these Negroes that he said that been here.
Okay? They were slaves. When you look at who ran Europe in the 1500s, Moors ran Europe in the 1500s, black people.
Pause. We didn't went from A1 being three different groups of Indians to them three groups of Indians being being all Negro, from them being Negro to mentioning Naya, from mentioning Naya to dealing with the Yucatan, then mentioning the Yucatan once being a part of Florida, and then making everybody along that Yucatan Peninsula, making all of them was Negroes. And these Negroes was here before the white people, and these Negroes owned white slaves. Now we went from owning, white people being slaves in America to now Europe, where the people in Europe the Moors are now these black men, and they're owning white people in Europe. So here we go.
Were no white people running Europe in the 1400s? You understand what?
Now he said white people wasn't running Europe in the 1400s, and we have evidence of what? White people running Europe in the 1400s. Goddamn, they broker a whole slave trade.
So the war was between, you want to call us?
Now he done went from all of that shit. He went into England. He went to Europe and remixed white people and said they wasn't running shit. The Moors was, and the Moors supposed to be non-whites. Then now he came in, and now we back to a war. What war we talking about, bro?
Black, Negro, color that was already in America against the Negroes or Moors that was in Europe.
So this Negro just claimed that the black Negro in America went to war with the black Moors in Europe. Where is that historical document at? Better yet, what the hell is he smoking? What up, Kanan? This man literally said that the black Negroes in America had went to war with the Moors. That's supposed to be black people. It was a war between the blacks on. It was black on black crime. It was the West Coast blacks versus the East Coast blacks. They went to war. What they going to war for? A1. What they going to war for? Tell us.
Like Moors ran Europe in the 1500s. Black people. Wasn't no white people running Europe in the 1400s. You understand what I'm saying? So the war was between, you want to call us black, Negro, color that was already in America against the Negroes or Moors that was in Europe.
Okay.
The wars was between us. So even the 13 colonies was ran by 5 black kings. Now, these 13 colonies had to get permission. Colonies had to get permission. Like Moors ran Europe in the 1500s. Black people. Wasn't no white people running Europe in the 1400s. You understand what I'm saying? So the war was between, you want to call us black, Negro, color that was already in America against the Negroes or Moors that was in Europe.
Okay.
The wars was between us. So even the 13 colonies was ran by 5 black kings.
So now he comes back to America, and then he says that the 13 colonies were ran by 5 black kings. See, this is where it gets murky, right? Somebody, anybody, Google 5 black kings of America. Just tell me if you find 5 black kings during the creation of the 13 colonies. Look it up. You tell me if you can even get AI or Google to give you a fucking answer for that. The claim comes up out of a book written by the author Lee Cummings, who says in his book that he is based on factual information and proves that the original 13 British colonies were founded by 5 black kings from Europe. Listen to this. Lee Cummings argued that there were 5 black kings from Europe established the 13 colonies, and 4 black Scottish kings and 1 black German king. Lee Cummings. That is alternative history at its finest. 5 black kings? And Lee Cummings had 0 evidence. So I'm just letting y'all know where that claim comes from, the 5 black kings. But listen to what he says, because it kind of differs a little bit.
The Negroes or Moors that was in Europe.
Okay.
The wars was between us. So even the 13 colonies was ran.
Let me pause real quick. I want y'all to look at this dude's face. Look at this dude face real quick. This dude is confused as fuck listening to this shit. Confused.
By 5 black kings. Now, these 13 colonies had to get permission from the Mama Namatop. That means chiefs of chiefs. They didn't just come here.
The 13 colonies had to get permission from the Manahanata. Why the fuck would they need permission from anybody that's already over this bitch when they goddamn got the gun? They don't need permission from nobody. They'll shoot you in your face and keep it fucking moving. Where's the evidence for this? This is literally, listen, I just told y'all about pseudo history. I just told you about pseudo history. If you're listening to this, if you're seriously listening to this, you know for a fact that this sounds like some mythology, like this is written in a fictional book. You can't sit here and tell me that you believe that there were 5 black kings, 4 of them Scottish and 1 of them German, came to America and established the 13 colonies, but needed permission from the queen, who was at this time of the establishing of the 13 colonies, a white woman. Why would 5 black kings need permission from a white woman? I guess y'all forgot that part of it. There's no critical thinking in the analysis and even challenging the belief. And there's only one person in the history of the world, and his name is Lee Cummings, that makes and asserts the claim of 5 black kings. There is no other there's no other author, there is no other historian, there is no other accredited person that exists. There is no history books that exist that asserts what Lee Cummings claims. I kid you not. But listen to him. Let's go.
Here, like these stories where they tell you, oh yeah, everybody just came to it. That's
Here's why implants matter. There are so many people like you that are missing teeth.
BS. You could not come across that Atlantic Ocean like that, my brother, because we had 6. We are the original Marines.
Now we the
okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
okay.
Now he said, before he get his question in, now he said that they are the original Marines. Niggas ain't never made a boat a day in their life. How the fuck is they the original Marines? Time out. I want y'all to think about it. He said that they are the original Marines. Process what he just said. They are the original Marines. Do the Marines travel or protect the waters? I thought that was the Navy's job. Y'all ain't listening. I can tell y'all ain't listening. Because how the fuck did y'all miss that? He said that they are the original Marines. You can't make this up.
colonies had to get permission from the Mama Namatop. That means chiefs of chiefs. They didn't just come here like these stories where they tell you, oh yeah, everybody just came to it. That's BS. You could not come across that Atlantic Ocean like that, my brother, because we had 6. We are the original Marines. When they tell
you heard them again. We are the original Marines. That's why I played it again, because I needed y'all to hear him say that they are the original Marines. I could have sworn that the Navy was responsible for protecting the waterways. Yes, it would be the Navy, not the Marines. This how you know he's making up shit, because he is just saying any goddamn thing that sounds sweet. Now the coincidence was in here earlier, but I think he kind of crashed out. Must have been a long week for a lot of people. Lucky ain't even up. So Lucky didn't get his bone ripping and stay up and listen to the show. He just said, fuck it. I got you, Lucky. I see how we rocking.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
okay. Now, as far as being foundational Black American, I'm not going to sit up there and make you something that you don't want to be. But let's be honest. When I say it, I'm talking about a lineage of people who are here, who are foundational to America. Now, if you were Black and you are already here, or Negro, whatever you want to call it, and already here, you would still be a foundational Black American.
Yeah, I don't.
So it's not all about the slave trade, but just the. But my question is this. My question is this though.
Look what?
You are acknowledging that slavery happened, that there was a chattel slavery in this country, right?
Not to us. Not to us. Not to us. Not.
Who the fuck was enslaved? The dude just asked him, you are acknowledging that there was chattel slavery, right? Not to us. Not to us. Not to us. This Negro makes a man. This he ain't did nothing but make up shit. This whole conversation. This man literally told us, right? He literally just said that they weren't a part of the slave trade. They wasn't the free blacks. Because the free blacks that walked around was motherfucking was from Africa. Period, point blank. You can't make this shit up. Listen to how adamant he is.
Here, you would still be a foundational Black American.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
so it's not all about the slave trade, but just the. But my question is this. My question is this though.
Look what?
You are acknowledging that slavery happened, that there was a chattel slavery in this country, right?
Not to us. Not to us. Not to us. Not it ain't happened.
Okay. Okay.
Well, 300,000.
Hold on. Let me. Okay. So you're saying that didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. Not the story that they told. That story came at the Reconstruction.
Okay. So there was okay. So there was no slavery here.
The slavery were white people.
The slaves were white people?
That was brought here by, yes. The word, look up. See, nobody ever looked up the word slave. Nobody never looked at the definition. We just agreed.
This motherfucker is, hey, look, hold on. Let me take this off the screen real quick. See, this is the problem with you FBA, ADOS, Aboriginal, wannabe motherfuckers, Donnie. This is what's wrong with y'all. Watch this motherfucker's face.
Slavery here?
The slavery were white people.
The slaves were white people?
That was brought here by, yes. The word, look up. See, nobody ever looked up the word slave. Nobody never looked at the definition. We just agreed and acquiesced to what Europeans told us. Europeans were slaves. More than 300,000 Europeans was brought here into the 13 colonies. Now, even if you look...
That's a lie. They didn't bring 300,000 Europeans into the 13 colonies. That's alternative history. That's why I keep telling y'all, when you know shit, you hear the bullshit. It's alternative history. It's speculative fiction. He took a real account and remixed it and gave it conjecture based on his feelings. That dude is looking at him and made every facial expression when he heard him say that the slaves were white.
Here, you would still be a foundational Black American. So
Yeah,
so you know, it's not all about the
No,
slave
I'm not.
trade,
I
but
just want to
just
say,
the
look.
but
I
that,
just want to say this.
my question is this though.
Look what? Go.
You are acknowledging that slavery happened, that there was a chattel slavery in this country, right?
Not to us. Not to us. Not to us. Not. It ain't happened to us.
Okay,
It happened
okay,
to
well,
white
who?
people.
Okay, who?
300,000.
Hold on, let me. Okay, so if
Okay, I'm sorry.
so,
Go
you're
ahead,
saying that that didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. Not the story that they told. That story came after Reconstruction.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Rich black.
This man said that the story of us being in chattel slavery came after Reconstruction. I don't listen. I don't know this dude, and I don't even give a shit about this dude. But there's no fucking way on the face of this earth that I am going to listen to another fucking thing that A1 is saying the minute that he says that chattel slaves was the white people and the story of us being in slavery comes after Reconstruction. So you're telling me that if Reconstruction is in the 1800s, you're telling me that from the 1800s up into the 1900s, the mid 1900s, the Black Power movement and all of that shit, the black people in America lost their identity, culture, history, language, gods, land. They lost everything after Reconstruction. How? No one could forget that fast. You literally have people being born into the situation and circumstances that are transpiring. Because even you're talking Reconstruction, motherfucking 1865 ain't that long ago, and a lot of people was happy about 1865. Why? Because a lot of people were freed then. Not all of them, but a lot of people were freed. Man, listen, my great-grandfather's father was freed in 1865. He was 13 years old at the time. He was a fucking slave. He was born into it. He was owned. He was property. I'm going to say that one more time. My great-grandfather's father was enslaved and freed during that time. Ain't no fucking way that he's going to forget that he was in property and he was owned by these people before he was sold to another group of people later on in his life. And what I mean by sold later on in life is not necessarily what I mean by sold, because it was right before he gained his freedom that he was actually sold. But later on in his life, he would go work for another family, where I end up finding him in their historical records. So we got an actual picture of my great grandfather and him and them explaining who he was to them and the type of shit that went down when he was dealing with these white folk. You don't lose everything that you had from the beginning of when your ass supposedly had been here up until the point a European comes in the 1600s. You're telling me 200 years after the European had established the colonies that you just all of a sudden started losing shit. The people that were here before the Europeans still have their culture, their history, all of that. They were ran west or south, and then end up hitting the Trail of Tears around some period, and then ending up in Oklahoma and other places out west. Some went as far as California. Some just in Texas. Some migrated into fucking Mexico. And you're sitting here and you're telling me that you're losing all of this shit in that short of a span in history? Man, you cannot make me. I'm listening to this shit. You cannot make me believe this. And all of this nonsense has been debunked time and time again, constantly pushing this old ass pseudo information that has already been addressed. Health and wellness facts. But listen to him.
There was okay. So there was no slavery here?
The slavery
Or who were the slaves?
white people.
The
White
slaves
people
were white
that
people?
came, that was brought here by, yes. The word, look up. See, nobody ever looked up the word slave. Nobody never looked at the definition. We just agreed and acquiesced to what Europeans told us. Europeans were slaves. More than 300,000 Europeans was brought here into the 13 colonies. Now, even if you look at slaveboys.org, right, they tell you it was 200,000 Africans brought to North America, which every year that number gets shorter and shorter. Now, when you go on slaveboys.org, the number is 48,000, bro.
That's a goddamn lie. That's a fucking lie. That's easily refutable. Why would he makes another claim with no evidence? This man literally said that black people were not slaves here. That story was told after Reconstruction. And he said that emphatically with a straight fucking face.
The whole Gory Island thing is a lie. When they tell you that they brought 21 million so-called Africans.
Okay, let me ask you this question then. Let me ask you this question. Because we all acknowledge that slavery.
Who is Gory Island? What is he trying to say? Is he trying to talk about in Africa that is a real fucking place? I did a whole presentation on it. Gory, is that what he's trying to say? He's trying to say that that's a lie. That changed from several different European countries fought over that particular slave post. We actually can go to Gory Island and see it. The slave dungeons. We can feel it in our spirit when we're there. Who the fuck said that was fake? That ain't even the only slave post. There's tons of them that were along the Western Ocean. In many countries, from Senegal all the way down to fucking in the Congolese regions. What the hell is he talking about? Hell yeah, it's a slap in the face to our ancestors. Donnie, you ain't never in your life beat up anybody, bro. You got a belief system. You got a belief system. You found something new to believe in, bro. Once you came up out of Egypt.
And I just want to make sure we get to this because, to respect the time of other people's callers. But just so we can clear things up, who, if you're saying Europeans were enslaved, who were the slave masters in this country?
Us.
Are you researching dental implants?
There's a lot of dental offices that'll talk about doing their teeth in the day process. A lot of times what they mean is they'll...
And I'm not saying every black person, right? I'm not saying every black person owned slave, but the majority of the black slave owners was black people, bro. I got a whole book. And hold
on. Go ahead. Hey, hold up. Look. First of all, you ain't got no book. You ain't got no book. Dude, I hope you do not give me a strike for this shit. I got to get your face on this camera. Watch this shit.
when they tell you that they brought 21 million so-called Africans.
Okay,
the
let me
glory,
ask you this question then. Let me ask you this question, because we all acknowledge that slavery, and I just want to make sure we get to this because, you know, to respect the time of other people's callers, but just so we can clear things up, who, if you're saying Europeans were enslaved, who were the slave masters in this country?
Us. Not, and I'm not saying every black person, right? I'm not saying every black person owned slave, but the majority of the black slave owners was black people, bro. I got a whole book. And
so
I got a whole book.
Okay,
Go
hold
ahead,
on.
go ahead.
So you're saying that Negroes, Negroes owned European slaves in this country?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Brother. Okay.
Go ahead.
Because the thing is that now it seems as if now we're doing too much and we're getting to, oh, well, do you know where the word slave comes from? So apparently the story of like Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman.
Bro, listen to this. This man said he got a whole book on black people owning white slaves. Not a coincidence. I know you sleep, bro. There's no way that you heard this shit. And we listened to your whole debate against this dude, and he didn't bring out a single black person that owned white slaves. But now he's got a whole book that he's telling this dude about. This is crazy. But watch dude face.
No, none of that stuff ever happened, right?
Nat Turner was paid by like you. All right, the nicer KK, a nicer Golden Circle and the KKK, right? They pay him to go into Virginia. The majority of the black slave owners was in Virginia, Maryland, South Carolina, and Louisiana. We talk about hundreds of thousands of black slave owners, my brother.
Okay, brother, listen. Okay. If that's the case, watch this, y'all. Watch this. If that's the case, how did it flip? How did we become, if we were the slave...
Hold on. This man said that the KKK paid Nat Turner to go kill the black people. Yo, Nat Turner was calling on African gods to go kill black people? When you listen to this, right? When you really are listening to this, hit the like button. When you're really listening to this, you can hear everything that I was telling you earlier. You hear alternative history. You hear pseudo history. You hear pseudo skepticism, right? You hear all of these things. You hear no methodology, no proper citations. You hear speculative fiction, historical fiction. You hear all of this. How could you take this serious when this man is saying the most? He said that black people own white slaves, and he's got a book that we never seen, and we've tried to debate him on the topic for years. And when he finally debated the topic, he didn't even bring out a book. Hell yeah, it's Gish Galloping at his finest. But now the dude is over here, and he's speaking to his audience now because he know his audience like, yo, this nigga's crazy. When a sane person can listen to this and immediately know that this don't even sound right. He contradicting himself. He's presenting a horrible argument. He says he's got information from some shit that don't even sound legitimate. You got a whole dude that's on a panel that's pushing FBA bullshit, and he ain't even convinced. And then he gets to ask you the one main question. And here we go. He's asking you right now.
They were coming over here as slaves, and they were working the plantations and building America. How did it flip to where the Negroes who are the slave masters are now subjugated and the slaves have now taken over control of the whole country, and now they're the ones who run a system of a racial hierarchy over their former slave masters. How explain to me, and I've let you talk for a reason, explain to me how that flipped. If what you call the Negroes, black people, we weren't the slaves, we were the slave masters. How did it flip between that and then now Jim Crow, and now we drinking out of a colored water fountain, and now we got black codes and convict leasing? How did that flip? How did that happen?
Okay, so let me explain this. All right, so boom. So the Civil War was the free white slaves. It wasn't the free black slaves. I know that that's what they tell us, but it was a
The Civil War was to free white slaves. Come on, y'all. We got 24 likes, man. Hit the like button, bro. I know y'all got some likes in y'all. Even if y'all don't even like me. Thumb it down. I don't give a fuck. Just hit react to the video. This man said that the Civil War was about freeing white people. To hell with the Industrial Revolution and the usage of a new technology that would profit motherfuckers a lot more money and the economic wherewithal to go forward with that. You sided with to free white people who were not subjugated. Hold on. Let me show y'all something. Remember, 1861 is the year of the Civil War. Remember. So what I'm going to try to do is pull up this census data from 1860. If I can get to what it is that I want to see. I do not want the full census data from everywhere. I want this. There's this map. God damn! I just sent this to Cujo a while ago. It was hold on. It had the whites on it. It had the blacks on it. It had all of that. But hold on. I'm finna pull up the race and gender from Statistica. And then I'm gonna put it on the screen and then I'm gonna reshare the video. Except okay. He said that white people were the slaves. This is 1861. This is the population. There's 25 million white people in America to 4.5 million or 4.4 million black people in America at the time of the Civil War. Look what it says. The statistics shows, hold on, y'all can't see it. My bad. The statistics shows the population of the United States in the final census year before the American Civil War, shown by race and gender. From the data, we can see that there were almost 27 million white people, 4.5 million black people, and 80,000 classed as other. So how the fuck before the war? How could 25 million white people all be slaves to 4 million black people, and the war was to free the white people. How? If you just listen to what he basically just said, and he's going to say, no, this isn't the right thing. But then we turn around and then we have a census. We have census data and a census record of the population of people that were there. I showed sources on shows that go back, that go back maybe even 2 or 3 years ago, where I had this census chart, and I wish I kind of had it right now, but I wasn't expecting to go this far. I wasn't expected to go this far. Like, what are we talking about when we are just allowing you to just say whatever it is that you want to say, and we just have to take it at face value? You're even confusing the dude that you're having a conversation with, and he's trying to separate himself from Africa. Both of y'all trying to separate yourself from Africa, but you got a motherfucker looking at you like you totally dumb. Knowing that we have statistical data out there that has been collected via the census records in order to explain away the general population of the people in the Americas at a particular time in history. And the nerve of you to sit here and just try to like, yeah, that ain't it. Nah, so you telling me 4 million black people on 20-something million white people, when you just sit here and said that the establishment of the 13 colonies, they brought over 300,000 white people, and then some whole old other shit. Like, bro, you like really fucking this all the way up. You ain't even trying to be close to the data. Like, you don't even care about being close to the data at all. You just jumped out the window and went all the way to a whole nother spectrum. You done went young pseudo on us. You went full fifth dimension. What is you on? An edible? Like, for real, like, what in the entire fucks of all fucks was going on during this show? And the mere fact that he entertained your ass for as long as he did is crazy.
Free white slaves.
I quit a 6-figure career to follow my God-given calling. Have built a multi-million-dollar business that funds.
After 1865, a lot of the white slaves started to form a lot of these militia groups, like the KKK. So when you start seeing from 1865
Hold on. If the KKK is formed after 1865, in your words, knowing that shit wasn't even really a thing until a little bit later on, but you know, I really don't even care to argue with you about that shit. How the fuck is it before the war? Because earlier you had brought up the KKK earlier, talking about some intimidation tactics and shit, and that shit was nah, bro. Like, you all over the place.
Way into the I want to say until after Brown versus Board and when the Civil Rights Act started, right? So from 1865, when you get these militia groups are going into black towns that have been established for hundreds of years. We don't know how long they've been established.
How, bro? If you're the majority, if you're saying that you're the 25 million, how did it get reversed, bro? How? This dude faces all over the place, but let this dude just talk.
Right? But they going into them towns and burning our towns down and displacing a lot of our people. Now, a lot of our people fought. against the slaves, against the ones that was free, right? So then when you get to the 1900s, right? You get to the 1900s, right? So what happened was, so the government that they formed around us, right?
This Negro done jumped timelines. You remember earlier when I was talking about the historical method and you needed a chronology? This is what I meant by how important chronology is, because he didn't took us from the 1600s to the 1800s. He never talked about nothing in the 1700s. Then he went back to the 1600s. Then he jumped the 1600s back into the 1800s, the mid 1800s. And then now he is in the 1900s with no justification or clarification for what the fuck happened in the 16, 17, and 1800s. No chronology. And if you're sitting here, I don't care if you smoke weed, I don't care if you toot, bump on dog food, I don't give a fuck what it is. If you high as hell and you hear this shit, there's no way you believe in this Negro. Because ain't no way you got a sober ass mind and this shit make any sense. What up, Q? Yeah, it's retarded one saying this dumbass shit. Listen to him.
Which the United States been existed, that goes back into the Great Law of Peace, right? There's all of that, the Constitution all comes from the Great Law of Peace. And that's written documentation that we had, the Continental Congress and all of this stuff, right? So what happened was this, right? You had government agents that used to go around the black towns, right? Telling black...
Pause. Remember, the dude's initial question was, how did the story reverse? He just said all of this shit, and the initial question was, how did the black people become the slaves, and how did the slaves that were white people become the powers to be?
Black people, or telling the Aborigines or the Indians or whatever you want to call them, that they can protect them. Now, some people took their protection, right? But understand what happened. With the form of their protection, now you are under their jurisdiction, because what they would do is they will issue a deed for your land. Now, unbeknown to you, they're taxing you behind the scenes. So now they will come back maybe a year later and tell you, oh yeah, well, since we provided you with enforcement, you have to pay taxes, and this is how much money you owe. Now, this is not what was communicated to our people at first, right? So after they come...
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, there's no such documents that exist to support the shit that he just said. What he's doing is he's going off of a myth, another pseudo story that they published on another channel with the Moors doing bad paperwork and that lady going to jail and facing 51 different felonies. So that's one of the issues that he's dealing. He's incorporated that into this story that he's telling dude. And this dude is sitting over here and you can see his eyes. He's trying to keep a straight face.
And you can't pay it, guess what happens? They'll take the land. Now with that, with the fact that they're running their towns, they're flooding towns. They're flooding towns.
Okay, brother. Thank you. Thank you for educating us.
Okay.
All right.
He did.
I mean, that's enough of that. Okay.
That motherfucker let him go for like 20 minutes. And then he said, that's enough of that, and kicked his ass off. He said, that's enough of that. And then he kicked him off. I don't know how he lasted that long. There's no fucking way on the shape form. There's nothing. No. There's no way. So let me just progress forward before I come back into my next little part of this shit, man. I want to teach y'all how to I want to go over this thing How to spot a fake skeptic. Remember, skepticism is a discipline of preparing the mind and observation sets in order to perform science. It is not an artifice to be used as a substitution acting in lieu of science. It does not tend to conclusions, as only science can do that. Nor does skepticism serve as a justification of one's personal ontological beliefs in politics. It does not afford the practitioner a claim of representing science or the opinion of scientists. The more I read through the blogs and substantive descriptions of skepticism published by prominent social skeptics, the more I gain a keen understanding that these attention seekers really have no idea what skepticism is at all. Below is simply a short tally of my disgust after reading through the dozens of published false understandings of what constitutes skepticism promoted by people who hold on to no technical or scientific advanced degrees, yet insist on speaking on behalf of science. Unfortunate persona who have been mentored by dishonest agenda-laden professional cynics. Trust me, most of the high-visibility skeptics have no idea as to what constitutes as true scientific skepticism. Some of the actual scientists who are included in this group apparently did not have a rigorous philosophical core to their postgraduate work. This is a fake pawn skepticism checklist one can employ to spot a fake skeptic. If you think that skepticism is a process of evaluating claims, then you are not a skeptic. If you are not aware of the difference between a believer and a sponsor under Occam's razor, then you are not a skeptic. If you cannot explain the difference between plurality and prosody, then you are not a skeptic. If you claim the skill of critical thinking but don't know what a critical path is, you are not a skeptic. If you proselytize children with your version of critical thinking, one heavy with conclusions, then you are not a skeptic. If you cannot define the structure and nature of rhetoric, you are probably already using it, and then you are not a skeptic. If you think that a topic or subject can be pseudoscience and not a set of pretense actions or methods, then you are not a skeptic. If you bristle when your consumers contest your claims about products in their own lives and then disagree with you, then you are not a skeptic. If you do not understand the statement, a posh vanguard's Gnosis, then you are not a skeptic. If you speak about Occam's razor promoting the simplest explanation, you're not a skeptic. If you cannot quote Occam's razor, I said Occam's razor because it was misspelled earlier. Explain concisely what it means and give an example, you're not a skeptic. If you insist on gathering media spotlight to shed the light of dismissive conclusions into a valid conflict of evidence, you're not a skeptic. If you behave like a groupie and travel in gaggles of fandom for celebrity skeptics or science spokespersons, you're not a skeptic. If you behave like a paparazzi of science, obsessing over and doing dirty work attacking those you see as the enemy, you're not a skeptic. If you think that nominating single hypotheses and then conducting predictive studies with supported is the scientific method, you're not a skeptic, A1. If you demand proof before you consider or research an idea, then publicly discredit the idea because there is no proof, then you're not a skeptic. If you have never made an investigative trip to any field to see firsthand, you're not a skeptic. If you have spent 90+% of your time in your home country or state, you're not a skeptic. You ABOs don't even get out and travel. And the one who does get out and travel lies about the shit he sees. If you have never sat with African villagers at evening prayer, worked alongside followers of Ganesha in India, or held a person in your arms as they died, you're not a skeptic. If you do not understand the difference between skepticism, being used as a tool inside of science, and it is employed in lieu of science, then you're not a skeptic. If you believe that science has proven why Republicans or conservatives of Fox News are an assemblage of morons, then you're not a skeptic. If you think that critical thinking involves applying your current knowledge to dismiss challenging firsthand observation by others, not a skeptic. If you think that every first-hand observation is a claim and don't understand the difference, you're not a skeptic, motherfucker. If you think that ideas are tantamount to theories, you're not a skeptic. Yodi, I'm talking to you too. If you think that capitalism is evil and tout the wonders of academic socialism, then you're not a skeptic. If you must pepper your discourse with technical terms from disciplines other than your own in an effort to show that you're a smart scientist, you're not a skeptic. If you find joy in bashing Christians or Islamics or obsess over Jesus believers, you're not a skeptic. If your skeptic's insights bear a habit of pointing out how evil men are, how stupid mothers are, women are, then you're not a skeptic. If you do not understand the difference between predictive studies and falsification testing, you're not a skeptic. All of these are examples, and they keep going on and on and on, and I'm not giving them all to you. But here are 10 signs on how to spot a fake skeptic. The tendency to deny rather than doubt. Instead of asking what about this argument is and isn't strong, a fake skeptic might say, this argument seems off, so it's probably not true. Double standards in the application of criticism. Fake skeptics often apply strict criticism to others' beliefs, but won't apply the same amount of scrutiny to their own stances. Donnie? This might look like dismissing a claim because it seems silly or outlandish or woohoo, or alternatively because it seems like established propaganda. Tendency to discredit rather than investigate. This is a hallmark feature of fake skeptics. Their entire gimmick rests on saying, well, your claim might not be true, and then patting themselves on the back for putting in a hard day's work. Use of ridicule or ad hominem attacks. I get them all the time. Motherfuckers in my inbox right now talking shit. In particular, claiming that the other side is brainwashed or that they lack critical thinking skills, presenting insufficient evidence or proof. You know, that's what all they do. That's all they do is that. Usually by cherry picking data, Yodi, V-Note, all the ABOs, by citing experts with impressive credentials, just not ones relevant to the topic at hand. Y'all do that all the time. We talking about history, and then y'all will bring up somebody in a whole nother field that ain't got shit to do with history, and then you try to make them an expert because they're a back rubber. Assuming criticism requires no burden of proof. A fake skeptic believes they're justified in doubting everything equally without providing substantial evidence or rationale to support their doubt. Counterclaims based on plausibility rather than empirical evidence. This is where anecdotal evidence and correlation-based claims thrive. Fake skeptics believe that that what could be true holds the same weight as what the evidence says is true. I know y'all can't see it. And none of y'all said nothing in the chat the whole time I'm reading. Suggesting the uncovering evidence is grounds for dismissing. This ties to a misunderstanding that any uncertainty, error, or dissent of science automatically means that the entire field is unreliable. You know, like they'll try to sit here and say something is wrong with DNA because some old ass article that didn't have the data then and don't know what the updated science is on DNA today made an assertion, and they try to throw the whole shit away. Tendency to dismiss all evidence. Y'all are really good at this shit. AKA the old. Science is all about questioning everything, so I'll just keep asking the same questions over and over, even though sufficient answers already exist tactic. Admittedly, I'm pretty guilty of some of these. I've always been one to play what if to no end. You know how they do. What if? What if? What if? That's Jody. I can be somewhat of an armchair theorist, but I've come to realize that my excessive skepticism is, to an extent, a defense mechanism. That's what the fuck they do. They're using what if and all of these other justifications for not knowing as a defense mechanism. Y'all are sheeple. You hear this? Me, I'm a free thinker. Type bullshit. A lot of what I'm showing today is actually in the chat, so you don't have to really go too far to look for it. I provided you with it so you'll be able to take care of it. Hold on one second. Those motherfuckers keep on. All right, so I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, man. I ain't doing none of that bullshit them other people is on, bro. I cannot get down like that. I cannot. So let me get over here to this thing and let y'all peep this for y'allself. So historical negationism, right, is the falsification, trivialization, or the distortion of the historical record. We just heard examples of that today, right? We ain't gotta lie. We ain't gotta make nothing up. We ain't gotta do none of the crazy stuff. We know what's going on. This is distinct from historical revisionism, a broader term encompassing academic reinterpretation of history driven by new evidence or reasoning. An attempt to revise and influence the past, historical negationism acts as an illegitimate historical revisionism by using techniques inadmissible in proper historical discourse, such as preventing known forged documents as genuine. I've been dealing with people all day in those Facebook groups who have forged documents and presenting them as genuine. Inventing ingenuous but implausible reasoning for distrusting genuine documents, attributing conclusions to the books and the sources that report the opposite, manipulating statistical series to support the given point of view, and deliberately mistranslating traditional or modern texts. It's crazy out here what they're doing. So give me a second because I need to pull up another show. This time we're going with Lucky, who was drifting off low IQs. Let me see if I got Yodi. Let me see if I got Yodi in. Hold on one second. One second, y'all. Nah, that ain't the one. Let me go back. Nah, that ain't the one either. Lucky, what the hell you been doing with these videos, bro? When I pull it up, I'm gonna get to it. Hold on a second, y'all. Or do I want to play the, nah, I don't want to do that right now. So was it the reparations one? Might be. Hold on, y'all. 2 days ago. That was 2 days, 3 days. That's dude. It's gotta be this one. Hold on. Y'all gotta hear this shit. Like, I just gotta. Here you go, right? Yes. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to. Yodi was a fucking fool for this dumbass shit he was trying to pull. Where your dumbass at, Yodi? I know you listening to this shit. All right, hold on 1 second. I gotta get the video queued up. So y'all gotta get on Lucky shit, man. I can't find the times that were drunk ass. What's the name of come in at 3 days for this. Or did you do it? Hold up. Can y'all see my screen? Nope, you can't. Hold on. Let me get y'all on screen. Cause I can hear this and y'all can't hear it. But give me a second. Let me go back. So Yodi ended up being on a show with Lucky. It's Lucky channel, y'all. Make sure y'all go right here. Tap in with Lucky. And I'm listening to the show, but I come on the show.
Look at these books.
Let me see. I'm trying to find it. I don't think it's this one, though. That's why I need Lucky in the chat. I'm going crazy in this chat on one of these shows. Let me get to it. Nope, this ain't. He beating up. Hey, he beating up. He called him Chief Bendover. He called him Chief Bendover for sure. Is it the one with this one? What your pseudo ass say?
AD. Anatoly Fomenko claims that some to the river.
Fatigue is real and there are reasons for it.
Spray it out. By their logic. I am getting
currently like present day natives, Mongoloids.
Look.
Those are the mound builders. He says, modern legacy of the 19th century science that's
the Hindu scriptures is a
Here we go.
historical document.
All right, here we let's go back. Here we go. Here we go. Y'all should be able to hear this.
Hold up, dude. 13,000 years ago. That's why.
Like Lori marketing. They say a leopard can't change his 5 minutes while this old nigga sounded like that.
But you still denying the proof, though. You a fool, yo. Shout out to Lucky, man, for sending your boy the track, man. It's ABO season.
You on mute, Lucky.
That was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind. You have to change your mind before you change the way you live and the way you move. So when we said that the revolution will not be televised, we were saying like that the thing that's going to change people is something that no one will ever be able to capture on film. It'll just be something that you see, and all of a sudden you realize, I'm on the page.
Fuck a poster boy, you the billboard for what? He took up all. All right, that'll work because I'm over here putting batteries into a damn toy car anyway.
All right, bet. So let me go grab my Heineken and set it up, bro. Play it. First 5 minutes though. So just time stamp it 5 minutes, and then we gonna cut it off, and then we gonna talk.
All right, hey yo, what's his nigga name? Ling Ling, if you in the background, I'm sorry. Yodi took up all the pseudo minutes for the day. You got to come back tomorrow, Ling Ling. We only got so many pseudo hours in a day.
I fuck with Ling Ling. He got some knowledge. I know y'all be fucking with him, but he got some knowledge.
Yeah, he better than Smoke Signal. I give him that. That ain't really much, but let me play this. Hold up, dude. Let Daddy find these damn batteries. Can you stop standing on my feet?
Welcome, David. We're delighted to have you back and to continue the exploration.
Okay, yeah, it's great to be back. Now, a major thing that Professor Anatoly Fomenko pointed out was this. He basically showed evidence, and many people cannot read the thousands of pages, but he showed evidence that ancient Egypt didn't exist, ancient Rome didn't exist, ancient Greece didn't exist, and that ancient Egypt was a civilization in the Middle Ages. Yes? Have you received that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So now let's go through the Middle Ages. Yes? Now, the thing is, this is going to be difficult to understand. So the thing is, I'm going to give random things this time, and then we'll put all the pieces together. Yes, here is one. Yes, the Jesuits mysteriously set up at the end of the Middle Ages in the 16th century. The dates that played around, like Fomenko showed, there was a 100-year error because he's doing calculations from the showing that there's a 100-year error between the Slavic calendar, the Gregorian, and the other calendars. There's a 100-year error. Now, if you've read my books, Napoleon did not exist. Yeah, both the Napoleons and Something's Wrong. Then it looks like there's another 100-year deliberate error, the entire 19th century. And the history all the way up to 1945 is another total fabrication. Yes, they've updated it, modified it, and they're still continuously updating, modifying history. That's what Gleb Nosovsky has even said. They're doing it right now. They're updating things right now every day. So now the Jesuits, when they were formed, they were basically formed as a military order. Many people don't realize this. Many people think that they were just scholars, monks, and everything. So they were basically based on a military line. Same like there's the CIA. The CIA has offices.
Yodi wanted me to play this video on my on the channel the other day, and I refused to do it because who he's presenting and the argument. You've already heard some things that that was being said here that made absolutely no fucking sense. But anyway, he's pushing it. So anyway, Lucky playing it, but it's the exchange after this that is crazy.
Their mission was the Muslims. Now, this doesn't make sense when they're going to Japan, the US, and the Canada, Brazil, Mexico. So many people. Somebody's put a comment on saying, "Hey, David doesn't mention the rest of the world, and he's Eurocentric." Now, the thing is, we are not going to understand the world without understanding Europe, because it's these European colonial empires that had something to do with what's gone on in the world. So now the thing is, here it is, from Catholic papers that it's too hard to hide, but the thing is, their mission was to the Muslim world. Now, it doesn't make sense if the Jesuits are in the
This shit
United
ain't
States
got
and
nothing to
Canada,
do.
because we haven't heard of Muslim.
None of this what I mean, yo. None of this shit got shit to do with your ass being in America before Columbus and or always being here.
And no scholar has debunked him.
Listen to this shit.
David, not to cut you off, I'm just going to ask those work.
Nah, you know that's not true, because like, so I don't see how that was like
That's the only
groundbreaking.
thing you got out of that 5 minutes, bro?
Nah, I mean, I told you
Didn't
the
he talk about
Anatoly.
the Jesuits?
So break down the Jesuits for me, because from what
Okay.
I understand, the Jesuits are the Catholic police. They are the police line of the
The
Catholic
police
Church.
of the world. You're right.
Okay, so all right, so I'm with you. So let's go.
Okay. Now, the reason, Lucky, listen, the only reason, let me start from the beginning, right? The only reason I presented this video and Anatoly Fomenko to you, because you're the only person out of everybody that is familiar with Anatoly Fomenko. Am I correct?
I think others are, but
Who else?
you know,
Name me one. Except for
um,
Karimio. Karimio did one video on Anatoly Fomenko, and that's it. He ain't did no more videos on him. Who else know him?
I'm
Bobby. So
sure.
it's only you and Karimio is familiar, far as I know, in the YouTube space with Anatoly Fomenko's work.
Nah, you know that's not true, because Karimio got that from 432, and you know that.
Oh, I don't know who 432 is.
All right, so 432.
I don't even watch Karimio. I just seen that one video because that's what got me to Karimio, because he had a video of Anatoly Fomenko.
Yeah, Anatoly Fomenko. The first time I ever heard of Anatoly Fomenko's theory was 2014, 2015.
Right.
432 The Drop was doing a video. At that time when he was doing those videos, he had like a YouTube. No, he had like a what's that, blog talk radio
Did
shit?
he go in depth with it, or he just did a video?
Yeah, them niggas did 15, 16-hour videos.
Nice. Yo, can you tag, not to cut you off, but tag me into the video. Does he still got a video on YouTube? Tag me in them videos.
I have to go find them shits, because that's like I said, that was 2015.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you
That
go.
shit was like way back in the gap, right? Karimio used to be on 432 The Drop's blog talk radio. He introduced that nigga to the world. He used to do builds on his blog talk show, and they used to take the blog talk show and air it to YouTube. That's
You
how
gotta tag me in them videos, bro.
That's how Karimio got the stamp. Because you know, a nigga ain't just finna start listening to some Spanish people. He had to get the stamp, so he got stamped by 432. And once 432 stamped him, all the pseudos just started following him. You feel me? That's how Karimio got brought into the game. But
right now, Dave, not to cut you off, I'm just gonna add on to what you're saying. I'm listening. I hear what you're saying. You're not wrong what you're saying, right? But Dave, the video I presented now, the one you got on the screen right now, is David Jung Jr. He's a linguistics. He studies languages, right? And he came across Anatoly Fomenko's work as well. That's why he mentioned him in this video. But it wasn't just Fomenko that why I played this video. It's to prove to you that other people are saying that history is fake.
Y'all heard this motherfucker? History is fake.
That's my point, bro.
So, but he wasn't saying, even Anatoly, he never says history was fake.
No. Okay. I'm glad you said that, because they don't say history is fake. What I mean fake, I mean history is misinterpreted and mistranslated. That's why I say fake. I don't mean history is completely fake. No. I know what Anatoly and others are saying, and what other scholars are saying. Other scholars are trying. No scholar has debunked him. Scholars attacked him, but never debunked what he proved.
How do you know that?
There's a difference, though. It's just like Mozzie Clan debunked me. Shout out to Sean P. I fuck with Sean P. You know that's the big homie, right? But he disagreed with a lot what I'm saying. That's why when I text you the other day, Lucky, on the chat when you was on live, and I said, yo, I only could talk to you. I can't talk to Mozzie. It ain't no disrespect to Mozzie, because I fuck with Mozzie. It's just they have an ideology where they're going to be stuck in that situation. If you know about Anatoly Fomenko, I know for a fact that I only can talk to you about this shit. You feel what I'm saying? If that makes sense to you?
So I see what you're doing, Yodi. I used to do this type of tactic as well. So
you only want to talk to Lucky because Lucky gonna let you get that bullshit off. Let's just keep it a buck, bro. The only reason that you like to go over there in those places, in those safe spaces, is because they're gonna let you get that bullshit off, and then they really don't even give a fuck. But they gonna let you get that bullshit off.
I see what you're doing. You crafty, but nah. Well, Sean P can handle you.
Oh, I got
you
tactics now.
Yeah, you got. You look. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. You one of the better. Like this nigga Yodi told niggas we not debunking, we gaslighting. That shit got to be the most funny shit I've seen.
That's a fact though.
Yo, that nigga said we not debunking niggas, we gaslighting niggas. Man.
Nah, that's a fact. Y'all call gaslighting debunking.
Nah, bro, you be gaslighting us by saying we didn't debunk you, nigga.
Ow,
that's
how
what that
much?
is.
Yo. All right, look, listen. Not to cut you off, but listen, right? How am I? Every time I come up on the panels, right? Do I bring sources? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So I'm not making this shit up then, right?
Nah, you do be making it up. You just be having a source.
Hold on, wait. So how am I making it up?
Cause, bro, you be like, it's a difference between them niggas, right? Them niggas, they won't know where the source is at for the pseudo bullshit. You'll come with the pseudo bullshit and you know where the source is. You feel me? That's why you a little bit more pseudo than them niggas, because you at least.
All right, so can we talk about that? Can we pause and talk about that for a second, right? What makes my source a pseudo? Let's start right there.
So now y'all are starting to understand what I meant by the whole skepticism bullshit, right? Because here it is on display that he's trying to play a skeptic, but then again, he doesn't challenge his own bullshit. He's not using that same logic to challenge the bullshit that he's presenting. Fomenko, Anatoly Fomenko, a Russian mathematician who supposedly rewrote world history. Right? So I'm going to give y'all something that I had before. And I'm putting it in the chat. This that late night bill. Y'all wearing Donnie ass out. Donnie, you shouldn't even come back over here, homie. You can't survive. Hold on, y'all. I'm fixing it now. My whole screen messed up. I hit the back button. There we go.
Yo, look, we got all day. This is my day off, bro. You see, I grabbed a Heineken, bro.
All right, so don't go nowhere. Get your shit up. Get all your Anatoly.
Nah, I'll put links in the chat, look.
Well, quote the links, because I'm talking to my
the backstage chat. Check
yeah, I see him back there. We're gonna pull him up, but I'm talking to my girl right now. You gotta control the panel.
No, I got you.
All right.
Now, he's supposed to be talking, but he ain't saying nothing.
All right, bet. So as you can see, you about to Sean might hit the link, but you got that nigga like, boy, stop. You better start. You know you don't want that pressure. Yeah, he told us his theory, but that's why I wanted to get into though, because I noticed that the Aboriginals they kind of have like they use somebody to start their thinking, and then they take and they just put their own myths on it. So like for instance, early this morning, Ab Power quoted New Chronology from this video, and then he proceeded to say,
not to cut you off, Luck, but what was Aboriginal Power's new chronology? Where you got that from?
He's watching all this Anatoly Fomenko babble, but he watches somebody named John Levi.
But he on the right path.
No, he's not. They're using New Chronology to say that Quetzalcoatl is Jesus. That's not what Anatoly Fomenko said. Anatoly Fomenko said Jesus was from Crimea.
Huh? What did he say?
Anatoly Fomenko said Jesus was from Crimea.
Yeah, he said a lot of things.
So if Anatoly
Fomenko, yo, Luck, we could go through it. I don't know if you got time, but we could go through Anatoly. I got the books, I got the links. We could go through it.
Listen, so you only off today?
But I don't know if you want to do that because you don't want to just, you know what I mean? You don't want to ride against your Magic Clan gangster niggas over there and they seeing it. You don't want to go against them niggas. I get it. But if you want to go through it, we could go through it, bro.
Hey, yo, Sean, this nigga funny as shit, bro.
I don't want you to go against your Pan-African gangsters.
Nah, I can't. I am a Pan-African gangster. What you mean?
Yeah, y'all some Pan-African gangsters, bro. Y'all rolling through, shooting up ABO blocks.
We ain't just shooting it up. What we really doing is we police. They on the block with the bad work.
Oh, so y'all ain't the gangsters? Y'all the police? Don't say that.
No. I ain't say that. I said we policing them. They on the block with bad work. They can't be standing out on my corner with bad work.
Police gangsters too, so that's, you know what I mean? That's a whole nother story, but I get what you're saying though, bro. But the reason why I asked you to post the video, because first, I don't want y'all to feel like Yodi is making shit up. I'm actually, y'all see now, I'm getting this from sources.
You are making up shit, but you're also using outdated sources and trying to argue it as if it's actual facts, when we have better information that actually refutes. And then you said, you made a claim, Yodi, that no one was challenging Flamenco's works. You remember, we all heard you say that during the show. So I'm going to run down about 17 people or more that actually criticize him, and I'm going to put it in the chat. I ain't even going to waste my time going through this shit. I'm just going to drop it out. Yeah, Lucky just making content, bro. He got this motherfucker up here just running off at the mouth, bro. I ain't gonna cap you down.
That's why I asked you, do I bring sources? I do bring sources. Now, y'all might say, oh, that shit pseudo, that shit bullshit, that shit outdated. Yeah, y'all attack the shit out of my sources, but it doesn't matter. Sources are sources, because what I respect about P the big, I fuck with P. But P be cut me off, Luck. When I talk, he cut me off. That's the only thing that I'm like, yo, I gotta talk to Luck. I can't talk to P. You feel me?
Look, well, you caught me at a different space, cause I used to do the same shit Sean used to do. I used to do the same shit, but you know, I'm just, you know, not a coincidence.
Nah, cause P the first nigga that put me on a platform to talk my shit. So I would never, you know what I'm saying? But afterwards, Every time I go on, he cut me off. And it's 4 against 1 with me. At least me and you love me. It's me and you right now, so we can have a reasonable discussion.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
it be feeling like 4 against 1 because Sean be hitting you from every angle. So it's just
Nah, nigga, it be like 4 niggas on the panel. What you mean, P? Luck, don't say that.
Nah,
it be like 4 niggas on the panel, my nigga, against me.
We just be standing there to make sure he don't like, you know how he, you know.
Yeah. So y'all P bodyguards.
We just don't want him to do you all the way bad to where now you gotta file charges against him. That's why we be up there. You feel me? So
I respect it. I'm not knocking that. I'm respecting that. I'm just saying, at least if it's 4 against 1, just give me a chance to express my shit. You feel me? Now, not saying P don't give me a chance to express my shit. He do. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, when I get to my points and shit, my major points, he start to cut me off. That's when he start to cut me off with this Pan-African shit. And I'm like, yo, bro, it's 2 sides to a story. You got your out of Africa shit. I got my polygenesis shit. And a lot of niggas in the chat don't even know what polygenesis is.
Polygenesis?
Yeah, polygenesis.
Everything he present is pseudo. Everything he present. Anybody that's watching the playback, the chat will be live. So if I drop a link in the chat, you will have access to be able to grab anything that I dropped in the chat. Straight up and down. So this dude just sit here and said all this shit, and he's saying it. I'm gonna let him keep saying it.
Yeah, I got you. But let me tell you why I say it's pseudo. We can go down to all the pseudos.
Yeah, you got the floor, bro.
It's pseudo archaeology, it's pseudo paleontology, it's pseudo biology, it's pseudo linguistics, and it's pseudo historians, right? It's all different, but the key word pseudo. So let me explain some of these characteristics for why niggas get called pseudo, right? So in the archaeological field, pseudo archaeology is the study and interpretation of the past using methods that disregard or reject established scientific practices or professional archaeology, right? Very simple. It often involves sensational claims such as ancient aliens, lost continents like Atlantis, and they're based on unsubstantiated evidence like folklores, speculation, rather than rigorous data analysis. Pseudo-archaeology is distinct from legitimate archaeology and is often seen as a threat to the field. So do you have any problem with me calling someone a pseudo-archaeologist?
No, I would never have a problem with that. You got to prove. There's a difference between calling somebody pseudo and proving they pseudo. That's the difference. I'm not just what you just read is accurate. I'm not disputing. That's not my argument. What I'm saying is there's lies and there's truth. There's pseudo and there's non-pseudo, right? The burden of proof is on you to prove that somebody's pseudo. Now, when I see a GED nigga calling a PhD nigga pseudo, that's like a nigga in junior varsity telling Steph Curry how to shoot the rock, bro.
Who are you talking about, bro?
Not you, Luck. Not you, Luck. I'm talking about not you or anybody in general. I'm just saying this is what you gotta understand, Luck. All the shit I'm talking about is just another side of the story, Luck. Let me ask you a question, right? Do we understand, me and you both, because I know you're a smart dude. I wouldn't be up here talking to you if you're not smart. I wouldn't be talking to Sean P if he wasn't smart. I wouldn't be talking to NAC if he wasn't smart. I'm not saying niggas ain't intelligent. I'm just saying intelligent. All scholars don't agree on the same thing. Can we agree with that, Luck?
This nigga got a GED. He cannot question nobody's intelligence here.
All scholars don't agree on the same thing as it pertains to what?
So all scholars in say, for example, history.
See, earlier I talked about skepticism for a reason, because you could hear it in his argument as he tried to have this conversation with Lucky. He's trying to provide skepticism to clear a path for him to be able to insert certain sources into the conversation to make it seem like he's providing something that'll actually be something. And if you're looking at the screen, you see me saying, is Atlantis? Is Atlantis real? Lucky ain't asking him these questions that I'm asking him.
Say you got a historical scholar, right? PhD nigga in historical researches, right? And then you got 10 PhD historical people that research history. Are they all going to agree on the same conclusion to a certain subject? You agree with that? You think they go all just because they all got PhD, they're gonna agree on the same assertion or statement or premise?
No, there's consensus. So
Exactly. All right. So that means that there's one side to the story and there's one side that's against us. So there's two sides to a story, right? Basically, right? So meaning that you have scholars that agree with one theory, and then you got scholars that disagree with this theory, right?
You gotta find, but this is the points.
All right, so this is where Lucky let like certain shit go. So Lucky introduced consensus to the conversation, but then didn't explain what a consensus is, right? So a consensus is met or reached by a group of people that actually have supposedly, and I'm saying supposedly, right? Because I'm just trying to make it what it is. You got to know how a consensus is met. You just don't get a consensus just because people like something or feel a particular way about something. That's not what they do. A consensus is met because the data exists to substantiate it, and a group of people have went behind it, scrutinized it, scrubbed it, and have come to that same conclusion based on the data presented by the said person in the argument. You know what I'm saying? So that's an issue within itself. But go ahead.
You gotta find who is the one who's saying it, and you gotta find out why they're disagreeing. This is what makes shit pseudo.
Exactly. So we can agree. So you're agreeing with my point.
He
That's what I'm saying.
He ain't even listening to Lucky. He said this is what makes shit pseudo. Because you can't take the position of one particular person because they say this, that, and the third.
All I'm doing is bringing the other side to the story. For example,
no, you're not bringing the other side of the story when you're bringing up sources that talk about motherfucking Atlantis and all this other pseudo shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Like how, bro? How is this the other side of the argument when you ain't even representing the shit with actual facts? This goes back to what I had mentioned about qualifying sources, evaluating sources. Some of us know it as source critique. Like you just can't interject something into the discussion because you think it because it's saying something different. And then you like the idea of what they're saying, so you're trying to present it as it's fucking factual and it's not based on some real shit. And then on top of that, the source is outdated. And I told you why we ain't using outdated information to deal with some shit when we got better technology and science that explains our natural world a lot better than they did in an era where they allowed scientific racism. This is crazy.
most Pan-Africans believe in the outer African theory.
Everything that he says, bro.
But there are scholars that
the outer Africa theory does not require a belief. It is supported by evidence. One more time, the outer Africa theory is not a belief. It does not require a belief. The reason that it does not require a belief is because it has been proven. It's been proven. One more time, it's been proven. The evidence is there. And a scientific theory is an explanation of the facts. So if you have a scientific theory and it's an explanation of the facts, why the fuck are you over here trying to say most Pan-Africans? Yeah. No, bro, you can't even get to that. You can't even get to that. You gotta explain to me how you fucking, if you understand what a scientific theory is.
Agree with that. And Pan-Africans don't look at them scholars. They call them scholars pseudo.
So the reason why
that's a problem. That's a problem.
So the reason why I would say that is why they do that is because we have to deal with what's up to date, right? So when somebody have a theory from 400 years ago and then they update their theory, we cannot then start to use what they used to say to prove that what's going on right now is false, right?
That's true, but how you know that the update is accurate?
Bro, that's where it is. You can't
exactly. That's exactly where it is. That's where black people keep arguing who's Negro and who's not, who's Indian and who's not.
Begging the question. That's what I'm saying. We don't pick holes in what we think can be pick holes in. We go and we look at the actual evidence. So when a nigga asks you, so what's evidence of black natives? You can't say, oh, well, they was lying about history. That's not evidence. That's trying to sow seeds of doubt.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. Look, I gave you right what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, and but what I'm saying is that's not my argument. That's not my dispute. What I'm saying is, for example, when y'all say ABOs, I don't speak for ABOs. I'm an independent researcher. Even though we say similar things with the ABOs, I don't speak for ABOs. Well, y'all call people like me ABOs. So I'm gonna say this, right? When y'all say ABOs don't bring sources, right? Or sources are outdated, right? I say this, right? The Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, was invented in the fucking 500 AD. It's still used today to make sure corners of buildings are squared. So you're gonna say that shit is outdated because it was invented fucking 2,000 years ago?
That's not something that I'm talking about, Vino.
No. I'm not saying you, Lucky. I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying in general. I'm speaking in generalities, bro. I'm not speaking specifically. So what I'm saying, when y'all niggas saying information,
man, he drinking way too many Heinekens. Because there's no way that he's believing any of the shit that he's saying.
information is outdated. Does outdated mean inaccurate?
Yes.
That's where we disagree at.
Yes. So that's what I'm telling you.
That's where we disagree at, look.
In the realm of science, when it's outdated.
No, that's not in the realm of science. That's your opinion.
No, that's a
don't
fact.
Consider outdated information.
That's in the realm of science.
No, science don't consider information in the history outdated. Science accept all theories and analyze all hypotheses. Don't matter how fucking crazy it sounds. That's true scholarship.
That's the thing, though. You saying that shit as if people don't analyze it.
Now, that's exactly why I went over the scientific method. This is exactly why I went over the scientific method. Because there's a clear distinction of trying to prove some shit and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yodi is not only is he uneducated, but he just doesn't have a command or an understanding for what it is that he's arguing against. He has a belief and he wants to present it as if it's going to be factual. When the author that he uses or put forth is either outdated or mythological fiction writer who presents alternative histories. I'm like, he's not doing what he thinks he's doing. And Lucky just letting this motherfucker talk, he getting his bullshit off, and it's like it's annoying as fuck. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Let me see. Let's see if I come up here.
So
that's why people say, yo, I ain't trying to. Let them say, I'm just here to.
So
say
appealing to purchase, because you keep thinking about.
You've been drinking too much. Put the bottle down.
Asiatics, Caucasians populate colder regions in the Americas, including Canada and Alaska, because that's their climate. You understand what I'm saying? So my point is this. When they say that Indians populated Americas, it was usually southern states of United States
Man, shut your whole ass up, man. I'm
South
done
America,
listening to this
which
whole
was
ass
owned by the
shit.
Spanish Empire.
Shut your whole ass up. I'm
mic.
talking. I'm talking, nigga. First of all, you said a whole lot of bullshit. You was bumping your gums, talking Pan-African this, Pan-African that. That's your first mistake because you don't even know what Pan-Africanism is. It ain't about no outer Africa theory and all this other bullshit you keep trying to make it about. You know, shut the fuck up. I'm talking right now, nigga.
Out of
They
Africa
already
don't mean
now, be
Pan-African.
quiet, nigga. Be quiet, nigga. Be quiet because they told you on Cuba the channel what it is, what it ain't, and I don't know why you keep running your mouth like it. Okay, all right. You ain't never been on Cuba the channel? Lying motherfucker.
One time
Anyway,
they kicked me off.
Nah. Shut up.
And Cuba is Jamaican,
You
right? And
lying.
they kicked me
Shut
off.
up.
I'm a Jamaican too.
Shut
The
up.
fuck
You
that
should
got
have.
to do with
You
the
should have
fuck
got
you
kicked
talking
off.
about, nigga?
You should have got kicked off, nigga. Now, the second thing, let me run it down to you. Since you saying all of that, what I'm trying to tell you is I'm trying to keep it simple so you can understand it. Just because you bring forth the source does not mean that the source is correct. What you have to learn is that not only are you bringing forth the source, but you have to understand the actual source's argument. What is the validity? Don't worry about who this is. You need to listen.
P, this you, P? My fault, P. My fault, bro. P, this you? My fault,
It's me,
P.
man. It's me.
Yo, my fault, bro. I know it's somebody else.
Just listen. When you use a source.
Nah, my fault, P. My fault. I ain't
Just listen.
come at you like that.
Yodi, I ain't tripping on that. Just listen. Yeah. Yodi, you've been drinking too much. Put the bottle down. Listen, what I'm trying to say is when you bring forth the source, right? It's not because you bring forth the source that makes it credible. It is the information that can be cross-referenced and verified in the source that you bring forth. So I'm gonna give you a quick example, right? So let's say your source claimed that there was no such thing as a land bridge, and then your source provided information, archaeological evidence that in a survey where they went down where they claimed the land bridge was, did the measuring, and did the geological studying and provided all the data that was necessarily needed. And then an independent group came in behind your source and verified the information for that to be true, and then supported it with additional information right from the earth, providing all of this information and brought it forth. The scientific community then will send out other people to verify that said thing. And then as long as the repeated test over and over and over keeps coming back that your source was correct about that, that's how a scientific consensus is met because of this evidence. Now, because he had a hypothesis, he put forth this hypothesis, tested his hypothesis, and then he went through that whole scientific method. His hypothesis now has been promoted as a scientific theory. The scientific theory is an explanation of the facts. So all the data that he brought out was confirmed. So that would be factual information. So now the scientific theory is explaining the data, because now it's moved on to a scientific theory. So that explanation of facts makes it valid. Once we understand the methodology in the approach of the said author in any book that you claim or that you brought forth, once we understand the methodology of that, we can then go forward with validating that. It is when you bring a source that turns people that says America is Atlantis or Atlanta is Atlantis. These are things that immediately jump out that we know it's mythology. So it's not your source. It is the approach of your source at the says in the moment of the conversation. So I'm trying to make it as quick as I'm at work. So what I'm saying is you'll bring forth the source that is mythos. It's full of mythology. And then you will propose this source to be actual factual when there's no scientific data that supports the source. Now, you brought the author back up, but you were talking about the law, right? What you're realizing is this guy provided the law, he quoted the law, and then he inferred on his own interpretations of said things where he interjected and he used words that is not in the law. So you have to split what he says is one thing and take him at his value for what he says here. And then you have to take the law for what it is. The law, it's written into the law. They're two separate conversations.
Leave that book up there.
It's two separate interpretations. Just like I told you earlier on, you made a mistake because you didn't read the introduction to the book in which you brought forth. In the book that you brought forth, your same author provided context into who was bringing these African nations into the Americas. He said African nations, and then you turned around because you wanted to highlight Virgo on some bullshit. You wanted to do that, so that's a methodological flaw, a tactic that y'all use because you don't read the full body of the book, the footnotes and cliff notes and things of that nature that are highlighting these key moments in error. And then you set up here to talk about history. There's so much that in this video playback that I damn sure I am going to make a video. I am going to walk it down, and I am going to show you where you're fucking wrong at. But the part of your problem is that you do not have a research methodology, and your conclusions are flawed because you claim as an independent researcher that this is your research and what you're uncovering, and you ain't even got a research question to even address the answer at the end. So you're stuck in a hypothesis mode and trying to argue with us over your hypothesis. And you don't seem to understand that the part of the problem of why I cut you off all the time is because I know when you're arguing your hypothesis and when you're arguing with some information that may be factual, it needs more clarity. And you haven't yet to bring an argument that is actual factual, my nigga. You've been pseudo from the jump, just like Vernell in the chat, pseudo from the jump. He talks about historical accounts, means nothing, but he's arguing a hypothesis. He has a belief that he's a Black Seminole, not knowing the whole time that when he says Black Seminoles, those are people of African descent. When you claim to be a Maroon, those are people of African descent. So you Negroes got to stop the bullshit capping y'all doing and play it down and get some real motherfucking information. And y'all scared of DNA. Y'all scared of all the scientific endeavors and technologies that have advanced the subject matter to allow us to get these questions answered. Exactly. Yeah. Yo. Respectfully. Put the bottle down. You tripping right now. You keep talking about something. You be talking about shit you don't even know. So listen, Lucky, I'm out of here. I am following up, and I'm going to be on your top. No homo.
So that was my exchange with V-Note. Now, what I was going to do today was I was going to show y'all why his outdated sources are unreliable. But due to the type of time we on, I would have had to have done that a lot earlier in the day. However, I do want to lighten the mood for everybody that's still tapped in. And I want to laugh real quick. Let me see.
At the 3-hour mark, I think that's exactly when Sister Bethy walked in. Sausage? Yeah, sure. And so this is where I would say that Sister Bethy did a terrible job in representing Aboriginals and all of that shit. Did a terrible job. So this dude, the Afrodamus, I ain't gonna lie, he gonna trigger a lot of people. A lot of shit he said was out of pocket. But if I'm also being honest, a lot of the shit he said was funny. You feel me? I gotta be honest. And there was some FBA niggas that was popping it on his ass. Nigga told his ass, if I want to go to your channel and learn how to raise goats, that shit had me. I was dying laughing, bro. Like I was legitimately watching this shit laughing. You feel me? But I got real humor. Like I'm an actual Black American. I'm an actual Afro descendant. Like we could take a joke, we could throw a joke. That's why when niggas be like, oh, the Nigerians and the Ghanaians don't like each other, the niggas be joking. Them niggas are bang on you in a heartbeat before they bang on one of each other. They gonna stand with the Ghanaians, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just how we talk. So Afrodamus is gonna make a lot of niggas trigger. I think that's what he tries to do. And all I'm saying is that shit had me cracking up. Man, I was laughing so hard. But like I said, it was some FBA niggas that got their shit off too. It was that goat herder line. That shit had me. I was dead. I say, damn, they got you on that one, Afrodamus. I ain't gonna lie. But this is why I think that this shit, and I gotta agree with Kelly Green in the chat. This is why I say it's co-intelligent, right? Kelly Green, I gotta agree with you. That's why I call this shit co-intelligence. Because let me go back to the chat. This is why I say co-intelligence, because if the FBAs and the Pan-Africans was on the same page, lock and step, and they were on the same page with the Africans on the continent, neo-colonialism is done. You cannot colonize Africa the way that you're currently doing it if the Black Americans, the Black Guyanese, the Black Jamaicans, and we all on code. You won't be able to do that. You won't be able to get the Kenyans to come to Haiti to do your bidding, and vice versa and shit like that. So the keeping up the division, it's co-intelligence to me. Yeah, at some point in time, it's like, oh, niggas trying to get their money, trying to get clips and views. But if you're not getting paid for it, or if you are still getting paid for it, the element of co-intel is undeniable. It's undeniable, right? But let me let them get their content off. I don't want them to strike my channel. So at the same time, I don't want to just go to talking left about them, because I don't know the politics on this channel.
Their head becomes full with all this bullshit, and then they actually interpret this into manufacturing interactions in the real world off this nonsense that he said to them.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it on the side.
That makes sense, Savage.
Like,
It's not the outside view, it's the outhouse view. It really is.
Yeah,
we don't know his demographics. He's just guessing. You're just making crap up.
Again. So, sure.
No, it's a game, by the way. Go ahead. Outhouse Joe making comments. It's like African Pookie up there. Didn't African Pookie just say? Didn't African Pookie just say that he was incarcerated? That he was. Is it correct? Is it correct? It's funny that you go there. Like how mighty white of you? How mighty white of you to be this racist? You're doing what your kind normally does. Why don't you just raise your right leg up and go on the fire hydrant like your kind normally does?
I was the officer, not the incarcerated.
Oh, you want me to let him be racist? That's mighty African of you.
Hey, girls.
Not the incarcerated one, the officer with the badge. Thank you.
No, not. Hey, Afro nerd.
I couldn't tell.
Real quick. Just let him finish real quick. Go ahead.
So, Joel, have you ever heard the saying that we used to be kings?
I have.
Like Vikings.
Joel, you're a smart man. You're a smart man. You know that only a kingdom has one king. Not exactly. Not everyone can be a king. Not everyone. But JP would hear that and take that literally. And like that's the point that CT's trying to tell you. That's what these other people are trying to tell you. That these low IQ people or dumb people that actually
Oh,
don't
Savage, I
do
gotta drop
anything
you.
in life.
I gotta drop you for 10 minutes, Savage. Sorry about that. OJ Simpson says, use that credit to get this white out of here.
Yeah, he has no place in this
FBA
conversation.
Young Lion. How about this? Aphrodite, Mooncake, you guys want to answer this question?
Okay, I'll say it. Pound for pound, no black ethnic group can amount to our achievements, academics, wealth, etc. 2 million black Americans are millionaires. That's more than Jamaica's population. So,
if they live in an economy, again, I'll repeat, over 23 trillion, thanks to the white man building this. I mean, if you're there and you're not getting this amount, the population here is over 360 million. But yet, you compare to Africa, I can assure you there's way more Africans who are multi-millionaire than there is the blacks. It's a fact. The richest black person lives in Africa. That's true. And, the blacks here in America, their money is like a fugazi money. The white man can just, look at Kanye. When he didn't do what his master said, they just, deducted. They took him from, billionaire status. So at this point, I don't even know if their money is even real, I mean, in Africa, the money is real. It's in assets. You see it in their lands. They are building stuff. So, but the comparison is pretty dumb, to be honest.
Also, but if I may as well, I did a quick search because I didn't want to get this incorrect.
Hey, Afro Nerd, I gotta drop you for 20 minutes.
Over 60% of Nigerian Americans, so immigrants, have a bachelor's degree or higher. This is much higher than your average Black American, which I think they sit at around 28 to 30%. Not only that, Nigerian African, like people who come over, earn around 60 to 75,000 USD. That doesn't even come close to the average salary of a Black American. So when I speak about immigrants, you could argue that maybe there's compared to the salary in Nigeria itself, maybe Black Americans have a little bit of a higher salary. But when we speak about immigrants who are going to America, they're doing much better. Much, much, much better.
Well, I disagree with you. Okay.
Again, trigger warning. The views and the opinions do not reflect NPM Stay Swift or the Gotta Stay Swift brand. But you're about to hear Sister Bethy. Now the chick who just spoke, I think they call her Mooncakes. I don't know who she is. She rubs me the wrong way though. To listen to her speak, she seemed like a fake uppity. You know what I'm saying? She light skinned and she's foreign. She looks like she's like reminds me of like a Tyler type of chick, like a South African colored person. That's the vibe that she gives me. You feel me? She said some shit, but she just triggered Sister Bethy. So let's tap in to Sister Bethy and see what Sister Bethy said. Let's tap in and see what Sister Bethy had to say. So again, I don't know if they're gonna strike channel. So I have Sister Bethy down here in the bottom corner. Maybe I can do it like this. Maybe I'll do it like this. I'll do it like that just so y'all can see it. But I don't want them boys to scrape my shit.
Okay, and I don't care who don't like it. I'm a government employee, and I've been one for 40 damn years. I got 3 bachelor's degrees. I own my own newspaper. I own my own nonprofit, and I'm tired of y'all stereotyping us. I think what it is people like you and the African dude.
Dude, what are you talking about, dude? I mean, what's this guy talking about?
First of all, don't call me no fucking guy. I'm a woman right underneath.
I'm sorry. You sounded like a guy. Are you like a natural woman?
No.
I got you, Sean. Hold.
You know the difference is we didn't run, bro. We stay here and fight.
Because you're saying it because you're not put on that position. That's the crazy thing about it.
Bro,
You can't speak from the outside looking in.
Hey, Gomez, was your people enslaved and forced to pick cotton?
Of course we was, bro.
Okay, ours was too. You know the Hey, Gomez, was your people enslaved and forced to pick cotton?
Of course we was, bro.
Okay, ours was too. You know the difference is we didn't run.
So right here you got AP saying that his people was enslaved and had to pick cotton. But if you go back to an earlier conversation, the guy A1 saying what he's saying, he said that they wasn't enslaved, but his partner saying they was enslaved and was picking cotton. You see how they contradict each other in these moments, right? So like, who do you believe if both of them is saying two different things? And these are friends. These dudes are friends. They got the same mumbo jumbo, and they ain't even in agreements. But anyway, go ahead, Lucky.
Hey, Gomez, was your people enslaved and forced to pick cotton?
Of course we was, bro.
Okay, ours was too.
There you have it. You got two separate. You got the master teachers of the Aboriginal community. One saying he was enslaved, the other saying he enslaved whites. Until these niggas make their mind up, man. I can't keep up with it. The mental gymnastics. No, I got him clipped. He said this about a year ago, Sean. He said this about a year ago. I got him clipped up. That's in the tuck. You feel me? How long ago did I drop that video and put it on the back page? Oh, yeah, about a year ago. Maybe back page is down. There's no such thing as back page. There's no such thing as back page. When I say put on the back page, I meant put on the back page. Girl. All right. All right, let's go back to the video. It seems like I lost the ABOs. Seems like I lost the ABO. Where y'all go, ABOs? Don't run. Don't run. Nigga don't want to see Sister Betty get handled like that. I get it.
Dude, what are you talking about, dude? I mean,
he said, dude.
Don't care who don't.
And he said, what are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about, dude? That's funny.
Nigeria itself, maybe Black Americans have a little bit of a higher salary, but when you speak about immigrants who are going to America, they're doing much better. Much, much, much better.
Well, I disagree with you, okay? And I don't care who don't like it. I'm a government employee, and I've been one for 40 damn years. I got 3 bachelor's degrees. I own my own newspaper. I own my own nonprofit, and I'm tired of y'all stereotyping us. I think what it is people like you in the African
dude, what are you talking about, dude? I mean, what's this guy talking about?
First of all, don't call me no fucking guy. I'm a woman right underneath.
I'm sorry, you sounded like a guy. Are you like a natural woman?
No. I am. Wait a minute. I have a daughter. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. You know, maybe you should stop smoking Newport.
Don't tell me what the fuck to stop doing, you little fucking.
like a guy? Are you like a natural woman?
I am. Wait a minute. I have a daughter. Okay.
Okay. Well, my bad. You know, maybe you should stop smoking Newport.
Don't tell me what the fuck to stop doing, you little fucking African 50 Cent. You broke African, ugly ass, wannabe looking like 50 Cent motherfucker. Don't even go there. You look like a broke down, nasty ass,
you can't get no dollar out of me.
Wanna look like 50 Cent. I make more money than you, and probably your mama and daddy. You are African, you're nasty, you're still shit on the side of the street. You're
I'm
disgusting.
sorry that I thought you were a dude. I mean, you sounded like one.
Sorry that
you sounded like one. Stop smoking. Stop smoking.
That was funny. Look, that was funny. See, this is why I said bro got a channel like he got one of them Piers Morgan type channels. Jit funny as hell, bro. That nigga said, I don't know what you heard about me. Hey, bro, I gotta let this shit ride, bro. This shit had me cracking up. I don't know. That's why I told that nigga Smokes, and I say, bro, she had a terrible performance over there. I don't know why y'all sent her over there. Y'all stop sending the females over there to get manhandled. That nigga said, I'm sorry, ma'am. Maybe you should stop smoking all them Newports. Hey, that was crazy. Hey, that's crazy, bro. That's what I said, bro. This Afrodamus, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. After I seen this shit, I had went and followed that nigga. I started watching one of his live streams, bro. This African nigga funny as fuck, bro. Hey, I started following this African after that, bro. I say, nah, this nigga out of pocket. I gotta keep tabs on him. He gonna have a lot of people getting out of body experiences. I gotta follow him. He gonna have hella clips.
Is people like you in the African
dude, what are you talking about, dude? I mean, what's this guy talking about?
First of all, don't call me no fucking guy. I'm a woman right underneath.
I'm sorry. You sounded like a guy. Are you like a natural woman?
No. I am. Wait a minute. I have a daughter. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. You know, maybe you should stop smoking Newport.
Don't tell me what the fuck to stop doing, you little fucking African 50 Cent. You broke African, ugly ass, wannabe looking like 50 Cent motherfucker. Don't even go there. You look like a broke down, nasty ass.
You can't get no dollar out of me.
Wanna look like 50 Cent. I make more money than you, and probably your mama and daddy too. You are African, you're nasty, you're still shit on the side of the street. You're disgusting.
I'm sorry that I thought you were a dude. I mean, you sounded like one.
I'm sorry that you
sounded like one. Stop smoking Newports.
You are African, you're shit on the street, your water's dirty, you ain't got shit in your country.
This is the problem.
Oh, shut up. I'm not talking to you yet.
This is the problem.
You're the problem.
No,
you're the problem.
This is a huge part of the problem.
You're the problem.
This is a huge part of the problem.
You're talking about we ashamed. Bitch, I make money. And I'm very comfortable. I live very comfortable. Not all our people are low down.
Sure, you make money. That's what you say. But all of
Hey, Betty ain't making no money, man. She just sit here and said she been working for the government for 40 years. How is she making money? She been working for the government for 40 years. She's tripping. So listen, tomorrow around noon, Black Panther's gonna be live. I think it's gonna be on his channel. It may also be up on Amasi. Make sure y'all go and support. I just dropped a link in the chat for those of you who are watching the stream. Make sure y'all go over there to Black Panther's channel and make sure you subscribe and get the notification. But I do believe that it also will be on Amasi. He just has to change the settings tomorrow. Speaking of which, hold on one second. I'm gonna try to see if I can do it. I don't know if I can, but I don't know. I don't see it here. I don't know how he doing it, but we'll see. Just make sure you tap in so that y'all can get that good information from Black Panther tomorrow. The link ain't even blue on the settings. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. YouTube is tripping. Hold on 1 second. I don't think it's really YouTube though. It's the other one. Hold on. Black Panther Massey. Bro, where your damn shit at? I'm gonna try it again. Live stream. I don't know what he using. He might be using a new streaming thing. He had to be because he set this show up and it ain't under the same stream, y'all. When I post this link, if you can't see the link, you can go to the you can go on the what is that shit called? The post, the community channel, the Mossy community channel, and you'll be able to see it. Hey, let me know if it turn up blue. Nope. It didn't turn up blue either. So you'll be able to see it on the Mossy's post. I got it up. Shared it. Yeah, man. I don't know why StreamYard made me they made me so on StreamYard I see y'all one way, right? And then on from the YouTube side, y'all can't see it. So I don't know what happened. But hold on. Yeah, it's a trip. StreamYard got this new shit on here and it's trash. So I gotta figure it out. Cause I don't like it. I don't even know why it's viewing on y'all cell phones like that. Hide the preview of the vertical broadcast. Manage your layouts. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how they got this thing set up now. So I gotta figure that out. But I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here, man. I've been on here too long. I gotta take my son in the morning, get a haircut. appreciate everybody tapping in, man. Make sure y'all like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? Share this information. It'll go from there. But I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. But you see that dude, True Pilgrim, he ain't show up, right? He just kept coming back, chatting in the audience. But he ain't want no smoke. But make sure y'all go to Black Panther channel tomorrow, man. Go look on the community post on the Mossy Warrior Clan channel. And I'll see y'all at noon. Peace out. Oh, let me do this.
From Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, brother. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you where about from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whip I caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple. Caught another. Let's go. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karimio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Call the ABO slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no friend.